another exciting episode of Starfleet So Hail, where we have a casual and informal conversation about Star Trek. I have a weird voice because I've been talking all day, so I have like this weird, I don't know what's going on.
Talking about Star Trek?
By the way, yes, this is Starfleet So Hail / Crusher Convo After Dark / Changeling Salon.
Woohoo!
Changeling duplicate salon or double or stunt double salon also.
There we go.
So yeah, that's what we're doing. It looks like we already have a couple folks in the audience, but before we get underway, I just want to say I'm so excited that we have Jessie, who's Jester. And how do you say it? Is it Nene? Nini?
Nene.
Nene.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Jester Nene. And here joining us for the first time. So welcome, Jessie. It's so nice to have you on this show. We've been hanging out. We've been friends. And this is so cool.
Yep.
I'm so glad
I
we're
know.
having
I'm
this.
so excited to finally get to join.
And we have the return of Ken, Trev, Marcelo, and Michelle. Welcome back, guys. How are you guys doing?
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Both
Little-
energized and emotionally drained all at the same time.
Frazzled. Absolutely
yeah.
frazzled. Yeah. Thank you, Terry Metellus. You've achieved your goal, feeling emotion.
Do you guys find that you can't sleep Wednesday nights now? I can't sleep Wednesday nights anymore. So
It's like Christmas Eve for me, like when I was a
Yes.
kid. That's what it
Yeah.
feels like. It's great, but it's also I got things to do. So I got to balance.
One of our Bev heads literally said today, she's like, can't they just drop the rest of the episodes because I want my sleep back because they were just so tired.
5 more weeks.
We only have 5 weeks to go. We could do it. We could do it. 5 weeks.
could do
5
it.
weeks for Picard. Also, by the way, First Contact Day is coming up, and Cody Dax on Twitter proposed that on First Contact Day we make a loud noise about getting a new 25th century Star Trek series. So I'm gonna make
down.
a loud noise.
Yep.
Terry Metellus said it's a great idea.
Yep.
He did.
Yeah.
Indeed.
He should do it.
Yeah, I agree. I like what Terry's doing with Star Trek. Oh, what is this? Oh, never mind.
Uh-oh.
What? Hold on a second. Oh, okay. Sorry, I have this episode on.
What the
in my-
hell?
You
It's a
can't
squirrel.
do that. We're already
It's like a
frazzled.
squirrel.
Television,
what's going on?
television. What's happening?
I have the episode in the background, and there was a scene that I didn't remember, and I thought, do I have the next episode already? Like, if that's
No.
the case,
could
we're all stopping, and we're just gonna.
We're all
go
stopping, yeah.
Spoilers be here.
Are you inviting us to stream with you? Well,
I would if I had it. If
I know,
but I don't.
yeah.
It was just a scene I didn't remember. I've only seen this episode once, so you guys are probably gonna fill me in on things, or I'll ask a lot of questions or something like that. We'll figure it out. But before we get started, Jessie, we have a tradition on Starfleet So Hail for first-time guests to give everyone just kind of a brief version of their Star Trek story. So, if you would be so kind, tell our audience how you came about to the world of Star Trek, and just anything else you'd like to share in general about yourself.
So I don't have a really good story. I didn't grow up with Star Trek at all. Did nothing. No, I was Star Wars all the way growing up. Never grew up with Star Trek. However, I met my husband in college and he was a huge Star Trek fan. And so for the last 18 and a half years, he's been trying to get me to watch The Next Generation. Finally did last year, and I binged the whole series. I think, what did it come down to, Michelle? 22 days?
Yeah, you some crazy number like that.
Something crazy. I binged all of it, watched all the movies in one day, and then I went straight to Gates McFadden's podcast, and this has been a roller coaster ever since. And so, yeah, it's been very interesting. Went to Vegas, met Gates, met Jonathan, met Denise. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's been a whirlwind. And then I started the Crusher Convo podcast. So who knows? But yeah, my journey was nothing, and then all of a sudden, boom, Star Trek, everything. So
it's so cool. I think I saw, I witnessed you come into the scene, and I love that the spaces. I hope they stay around because you never know with Twitter. But I love that the spaces have become such a wonderful way. What I really love about spaces, we have a really nice big panel here, but I can't just randomly invite someone on. It's quite a technical achievement to come onto the show. I don't but what I love about space is that anyone can just kind of come on for a minute, say what they want to say, and then contribute to it. in that way.
And sometimes it's
they've
really
got-
exciting. Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We heard about the incident. I didn't witness
Our
it 'cause
first troll. Yay.
I feel like we're moving on. I feel important. I was like, oh,
It's
wow.
like somebody cared enough to troll us. That's great.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I have to countermand my friend Jill here. Jill says the conversations on space are so deep, which I agree with. I feel superficial listening to y'all, but I think Jill's a very deep person because I've seen your comments throughout the years, and I
yeah.
You sell yourself
yeah.
short, Jill.
Very much so,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's how Crusher Convo started, was on the spaces. I just wanted to talk about Beverly Crusher and just cut, and then it just was more of a deep conversation with the episodes. And when Twitter was like, is it staying? I was like, let's make this into a podcast. And it's shot up. Like, it's people seem to like it. It's been a roller coaster this last couple of months. So yeah.
It's a good timing though. Good timing.
It was very good
great.
timing. Mhm.
Great work.
Yes,
And
leader
now-
of the Bev pack
Bev
right
pack,
there.
yep.
The
Yeah.
Bev hack says Virginia. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, someone said that. They're like, oh, we'll just make Jesse the leader. And I was like, okay, sure, I'll do it. I'll wear it proudly.
I think I started the stream early. I said 10 p.m. Eastern. What time? I'm on Central today.
It's 10:39 Eastern time.
Oh, okay.
You're
I'm
good.
good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
So you're good.
I think I set the stream to 10:45 because if you're late on Facebook,
You
they're
did.
really mean about it. Yeah, so that's probably why I did that.
You
Oh,
did.
yay. I have a very special guest. Hi.
Oh my God.
I'm going to put you
Matt.
here.
Hi, Matt.
It's not
'Cause I
God.
live and
Matt.
breathe.
Oh my God.
Hello, my friend. How
Rumors
are
of
you?
my demise are greatly over exaggerated.
That was great. That was great.
Sorry. Well, Matt, welcome back to the show. It's so nice to see you.
I missed you guys so much. Everyone.
we miss you too.
I really have.
This,
I'm
this
also
season
so
of
wind
Picard
drunk
you
right
can
now.
actually love and enjoy and talk about. Because, like, I've had poor Matt
The look
on.
on your face is 1,000 words right there.
Got Great Bird bless Matt because I've had him on previous seasons and he's just like, okay, I'm sorry, I just have to say whatever it is. And I'm like, you don't have to apologize. It's okay. I know my love for Picard is unique and singular.
Psychotic,
I love
actually.
Yeah, it's like
Psychotic. Wow.
Oh, leave him alone.
It can-
He
no,
loves
Oh
if
no!
Picard.
Oh no! I will not.
no,
Oh, I will
it's
not.
true. He's actually not exaggerating because
I'm not
in the first
exaggerating.
season,
This
Ah.
man
my
insane.
best friend since like the second grade came on and he didn't like it, and we got into like such bad
I know. I was
arguments
there.
on the
I was there. I was
Oh,
there.
it's
wow.
uncomfortable. And it was like personal stuff came up, like you like everything. Well, yeah, well,
It was like
this kind of stuff. So it was like really
the
Wow.
the sick bay scene between Picard and Beverly. It just got personal real fast. you're like my parents died, and then my son, and then like I don't know.
it's
So hell, it wasn't like spaces. It wasn't like the salon a couple weeks ago, was it? Where you were drunk and it just got more and more.
Oh, I don't
interesting.
remember.
I
I'm
think
so
you
glad you
fell
don't record
asleep.
those. Yeah.
Yeah, that was an interesting time.
Reason number
Right.
47 why we don't record the salon.
That's a lot, indeed. By the way,
Yeah.
Trev, I would
Yeah.
like to show off what Trev is wearing to
Show me
our
off.
audience. So I'm gonna go do that right now. Hold on, how do I do this?
Show me off like one of your French girls.
Oh my God.
So
Yes.
in honor of today's episode, Trev
So I
is
did-
wearing his. Yep.
In honor of the fallen. And I went ahead and put on my earring as well. So
Wow.
Nice.
and clip-ons are for non-believers. I am a true believer of the prophets.
So so
Wow,
Mora's
nice.
you don't believe in Mora's clip-on Bajoran earring.
We will not speak negatively of Mara on this podcast.
Okay. very good.
I thought when this episode first started and they had that pre-title sequence, I thought, oh my God, Trevor's just gonna die.
I
when they
did a
had that
little.
big-
Part of
yeah.
me died inside.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Fortunately.
let's get going. I think we spent like half an hour almost just chit chatting, and I know we got to keep these at like an hour. So, who wants to do the episode summary today?
Wait, didn't you get
Okay.
one?
What? Oh yes, hold on. Okay, no wait, did he? No, he did a like what he thought.
Oh, I thought it
Was
was.
it a summary? Yeah, I don't.
I
think
don't
it was
know.
a
I didn't see
summary.
the whole thing.
Hold on. Let me see what I have.
In case
Hold
you're
on,
wondering.
I'm gonna. Okay, I'll do the.
Stan sent us something that on video because he couldn't be here. So
It's not an episode
Aw.
summary. I'm gonna play it a little later because it's more of
Okay.
his thoughts.
got it.
Okay, so I'm nervous about doing it. I would normally just jump in, but like I said, I only saw it once, so I'm gonna assign the episode summary today to Matt.
Oh, Matt, see what happens when you show up late?
Miss a couple staff meetings.
Yeah, that's
Never
right.
again.
Captain, we're getting an incoming distress call. We have to go. I did just watch it, so I should be able to do this.
Yes. Okay.
I'm also wine drunk, so that's a secondary.
Nice.
Great. I mean, this episode was absolutely incredible. We start out with that amazing little teaser of a vision / nightmare that Jack has with the entire bridge crew bonding, and those great bridge shots that we've been waiting for of this bridge since we saw it on the Stargazer. And everyone gets, slaughtered right off the bat, and we see those red whatever it is coming in, and then cutting into, I'm going to be awful with the exact sequence, but basically everybody's coming back. Shaw is standing in the briefing room saying how, hey, by the way, called Starfleet already. They're on their way.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
Good luck, have fun, but I respect you just enough to give you a good cover story. Kind of steps out of the room. With fantastic scene with that. Then we go directly into, I believe after that we get into the Raffi Worf battle. Maybe, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. We get to see them sparring back and forth, always watching a human go after a Klingon. Fantastic programming with that. We see them asking their handler for access to Daystrom's station because finally everything always comes back to Daystrom. All the fun techie things always have to come back to Daystrom. They get denied. Raffi goes on a tangent, as she always does, and Worf reins her in. Yada, 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 one thing or another. We get back to the Titan. We see this random security officer that's going to come and arrest them and court-martial them. But suddenly this person doesn't want to use the transporter. So we get a nice, beautiful shuttle scene. And lo and behold, we get
Wow.
the prodigal daughter returns. She said no to DS9 and Voyager, but she comes back for Star Trek Picard. We get Ro Laren,
Cool.
looking gorgeous as always. I don't know what she does. She holds that stoic nature, interrogates Picard and Riker. We get a little back and forth tension with, the last time Picard saw her, she was supposed to be doing what she was supposed to be doing, and she came back. Riker came back and said that she had a phaser to his head. I'm droning on, but this is such a hard episode to just summarize and not go into detail.
We can help you out. So they have this intense thing that everyone's been waiting for 30 years.
30 years, literally.
Of back and forth in the holodeck where they're trying to figure out one, because Dr. Crusher's like, hey, changelings are now indistinguishable pretty much.
The
really
autopsy.
Tell, right?
Now we find out that they can do biological internal organs too. So that's throwing
crazy.
a wrench into everything.
And so then I love that scene, by the way. He looks at the thing and he's like, this is a very personal matter or whatever. And he looks at the thing and he turns around and he's like, what do you want with my son? It's really intense stuff. It's so they're trying to figure it out, and then they do. And they put their phasers down, and they're like, "Well, at least we know who we are who we say we are." And then they're having just kind of just getting their Trek beef out for the next few minutes. And Ro admits how much, no, Ro's okay, whatever. She's I gotta go. The changeling infiltrated Intrepid crew are I thought we were bringing Jack Crusher back to the Intrepid, and she's like, no, we'll do it later or whatever. I forget what she says, and then they go back and she hands Jean-Luc her Bajoran earring because he accused her earlier of not where is it? Like, and she's like, she's had it this whole time. She kept it. And so then she and the crew go back and they plant one of those bombs. These guys are like so awful. They plant these little bombs everywhere, and there's not enough time for Ro to dismantle it, and so she reaches out to Titan to let them know. I think you're frozen. Oh, I have to turn off my video. Thank you. All right, because I'm on cellular right now. So, anyways,
you actually
did you guys hear
frozen?
me?
No. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I don't know how much of the summary you guys heard.
All of it.
Part of it, but
Audio was perfect. Visual was frozen for a bit, but I think you're good now.
Yeah, you're totally fine.
So she's like, you know, this is the part where I'm struggling to remember. So Matt, you can jump back in, or anyone else.
And no,
but yeah.
And we also before we
kamikaze run.
Before we get to even the kamikaze one, let's also point out that was right before Raffi and Worf were forced to fight each other. And Raffi kills Worf.
Oh, that's right.
Oh shit!
I mean, she stabbed him. He died. He fell down.
Yes.
Kills. Yeah.
His Klingon redundancies are coming in handy.
Yeah.
In this point in the summary, she killed Worf.
Right. You tell him, Matt.
And then we do come back to, you know, we have the kamikaze run into the port nacelle. The Intrepid is completely, what we think is paralyzed. She's listing in space, which I always love when a starship does that gentle sinking, even though it's no gravity in space. Gravitons.
Just once, I'd like it to go up.
Well, she's
up.
She does in a very
off
menacing way. Yeah,
it does. Yeah,
it throws off the nav. It reminds me of like when, in a way, it reminds me of like in Star Trek VI a little bit when Enterprise fires the torpedoes on Chancellor Gorkin's ship, and you know she's the ship lists. You know, it's like listing for a second.
She's spinning out of control.
She's spinning out of control, yeah. And so then you're right. When she comes back up, though, she looks mean AF.
Oh, that was, and I was just to get the summary. We're so off topic on the summary, but kamikaze run. We realize that she sacrifices herself, gives them the time to escape. Titan jumps to Warp. Worf is saved because he was never really injured because Klingons have redundancies for everything, and. No, everything is fine. He's bleeding out. They do get the device to get them access to Daystrom Station. Then we realize that Crusher and Jack are in sickbay alone, and they're talking about all of these different changelings that were on board. And there was 4 of them. How did you? And then we get that cryptic moment with Dr. Crusher, where she looks at Jack and says, "How did you know all 4 of them were changelings?" And he says, "I didn't." And that's a twofer, because either that is just underscoring the fact that he almost killed 4 innocent security members, or potentially did and got lucky, or that is a subtle undertone that Gates McFadden is asking, how did you know that they were changelings so that I can avoid being discovered as a changeling? And we don't know yet.
Oh, you think Dr. Crusher?
Yeah, it made me a little nauseous. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah, we were definitely talking about that.
Don't you think she was like asking
not
how
happy.
he knew so she could figure out a test to
The
like a
way
new
she
test?
said it. The way she said it.
Now I gotta go back and watch.
Well, the music cue too. The music cue was a little ominous. That was what I'm like. Oh, Star Trek does this all the time when we're looking at bad guys.
Yeah,
it could be to throw us off.
If Dr. Crusher is a changeling,
not gonna be happy.
I'm coming for you all.
So I know I said that on the Crusher convo, but I've thought it through more, and I think I know what's going on. I have another theory, but we'll talk about that. So
the summary's also what happens next is
it Ken's theory?
Jill just said the chat is all over the place waiting for this summary to be over. You guys did awesome with the summary.
Guys.
I think you guys are rocking the summary.
There was so much to summarize.
This episode, how do you?
There was a lot going on. There was a lot going on.
You just want to be like, okay, they're trying to get back. All of a sudden, Rolaren appears. She and Picard have a fight. Then they come to terms. She kills herself trying to save the ship, and off they are again. and
Don't
Bev.
yeah,
summarize it like that.
Yeah.
It's killing me.
They-
Matt,
Yeah,
if, it makes you, Matt, if it
and-
makes you feel better, I'll do it next week, but I'll do it vodka drunk, and we'll be here for 3 hours.
Oh yeah.
Done.
You guys
Ooh,
rock
I'm
it.
with
Tune in.
Trev. I'm
No,
with
but
Trev.
what with the summary, you have to say that when Ro left, walked away from Picard, she put her Bajoran earring in Picard's
Yes.
hand,
Mhm.
and then Picard it was such an emotional moment, and then Picard showed it to Riker in the briefing room, and Riker says, "I know why this is here. It's an old spy trick." He puts it on the interface, and all of her files from Starfleet Intelligence shows up. And it
Yes.
fills, it's a beautiful screen, and they're going through it. Then suddenly there's an incoming transmission, and the incoming transmission, Riker looks at Picard and says, "Jean-Luc," and Jean-Luc nods. They pull up the transmission, and it's Worf. And Worf is like, "Admiral, Captain, Mr. Worf, what's going on here?" And Worf
Mr.
says,
Worf.
"Wait a minute, where's Commander Ro?" And the look of sad emotions on all their faces. And then you cut to that scene where Jack and Beverly are talking in sickbay, and Jack saying, "I don't know how I didn't know they were changelings." Beverly asks that key question. You zoom in on Jack, very similar to how you ended last week, where still we're figuring out what the heck is going on with Jack Crusher. Fade to black, roll the credits. So
What the heck
Thank
is
you.
going
I
on?
did
Let's
forget
start. Let's start there. What the heck is going on with Jack Crusher? What do you guys suspect? Is he a changeling?
Not having a good 24, 48 hours. several
I
days now.
still stand by. Well, Michelle and we still stand by there has to be some Borg in him. I mean, there's especially because we felt like when he attacked those changelings, he felt activated like Daj was in season 1,
Interesting.
Yeah, that's
and
what we
just kicked butt, and yeah, it was definitely a very interesting. And then his eyes were red. Now the
Whoa,
voice,
whoa.
yeah.
Esmer. What species is she again?
Who?
Helene.
Esmer. She's Helene. What was it about the Helenes in TNG that was special?
They're partially telepathic.
She says in his vision, by the way, he looks so handsome in a Starfleet uniform. I hope he wears one more often.
Out of it as well.
She says in his,
yes, out of it as well, sure.
out of
He's
his-
red.
Still not 23 though. He's still not 23.
Just bring him closer. It's fine. The further away from 23 in my direction is fine.
He had a hard life. Listen, you know?
Yes, he
True.
did.
That's-
Listen,
he did.
I'm 32. Okay, like if he's gonna try to pass for 23,
I think you could pass for 23.
You could pass
I
for
Oh,
could
like
you
see
20.
it.
absolutely can
You
pass.
could pass for
Yeah,
21.
you're looking
You
young,
could,
Matt.
Yeah, and I saw you in person. You could even in a club get away with 18 if you wanted to.
Yikes.
I'm just saying.
Wow. Okay.
Someone
There you go,
actually
Matt.
recently
Anyway.
said they thought I was 25, and I was like, "Thank you," because I'll be 38 this year.
I shaved, so I look like not 34.
Exactly. Yeah.
You
You
know?
look 14.
I look exactly as old as I am.
But
Stop, Kent. No. Stop.
my question for the group is: has everyone heard the other? Obviously, like people have talked Borg, Picard. Obviously, Borg and Picard go hand in hand.
Mhm.
The other thing with the red eyes. Where
Yeah,
have we
what's the
seen that? Where else
Where
have
have
we
we
seen that?
So it was mentioned on Crusher Convo.
Yes, it was.
DS9, the pot rates.
Yep.
and
because
what could
I-
a red door also be?
Because I had mentioned
you think it's gonna
Cisco
be the
vibes
Prophet?
with the prophets.
Yeah.
Wormhole,
What are you
yeah.
doing there, Matt? Oh, the
Wormhole.
wormhole?
Also, do we remember when? Yeah, I'm not sure what Matt
Yeah.
was just doing, but I think it's a
Yeah.
wormhole. We're just gonna go with
Charades
wormhole.
now. We have to do charades.
My
Yeah.
hands
First
don't
word
go into
sounds like-
4 dimensions. Okay.
Oh,
And you call yourself a Star Trek fan? No, I'm kidding.
I call myself a model.
Before season 3 ever came out, when Blass and Metellus were leaking set pictures, there was one of the interior of a shuttle, and the shuttle actually had rather prominently on the navigation console the Bajoran system and DS9. Both were
I didn't
quite
know that.
visible.
Oh, fascinating.
So
That was like
if
a
we-
leak.
No, it wasn't a leak. It was just them posting images of the set. Like when they posted, there's one where they're like in the transporter room and it's just 2 pairs of boots. Like obviously it's probably Jean-Luc and Riker like standing on the transporter pad, but he didn't take a picture of who it was. He just took a picture of Boots and the transporter pad. And everybody's like, "Oh my god, it's a transporter pad," because we had nothing else about season 3 to go on, and so we were just like excited that the same
There's
set
gonna be
disappeared in
transporters in Star
every
Trek.
iteration of
Yeah.
yes. There's like,
Oh my
what?
god, they still use
Yeah.
those.
A
Yeah.
Delta.
Star Trek
Shut
is
up.
back.
Yeah. That was
What?
all we had. That was all we had to entertain us. But there was one of those photos was the cockpit of a shuttle, and the navigation console had the drone system. So
Fascinating.
Do you think they're going to go to Deep Space Nine and recreate those sets and everything?
I already
Interesting.
got Ro. If they go to DS9 and we see Kira, I will not be here because I will die.
Although it was
So-
interesting, but now that you mentioned that, watching this episode, she could have been the lead on Deep Space Nine and done a fantastic
no
job.
question. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm glad
You
we
guys
had
have
a
all
visitor,
seen-
though.
Incredible.
I like
Yeah.
Kira.
You guys have all
Yeah.
seen Battlestar Galactica, right?
No.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
9 million times.
This feels like post Admiral Kane, Michelle Forbes going
Mhm.
like, "Oh yeah, like you can't fuck around with me anymore because I'm the best." And
She felt like
she was-
Ro Laren,
she was-
though, right?
She
She
did feel
had,
like
like,
Ro, but like
Like,
Yeah.
there were
But, like,
moments
she
where I
had,
was like,
like, the
that's
co-
Ro.
she had like a power to her. Like she was like
Yeah.
not letting Jean-Luc like
Mhm.
talk
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
how,
Did a
Yeah.
better
Yeah.
ending than
Yeah.
Kane got though.
He was just like a bitter old man when he was talking to her. I don't know. He was.
It was so powerful because, well, Jesse and I were talking about this on Crusher Convo because that whole like arc that they went through was kind of what we thought was going to happen with Picard and Beverly, like the conversations
Hey,
and all of
everybody.
that.
Thanks for letting me be.
Whoops. Stan's cutting in.
Stan, how you doing?
Stan said, "Hold on."
Incoming
got thoughts.
transmission from Stan.
Incoming transmission. Oh, there I am.
sorry
Yeah.
guys, that was weird.
Incoming transmission pushed directly to the main view screen.
Yeah.
All right, sorry. Carry on, Michelle.
Oh my gosh. No, I want to hear Stan now. I mean, really.
We'll go
Now
to
we want to know what he
so-
had to say.
Incoming
Teased.
transmission.
all right. We'll go to Stan, and he's gonna give us his broad thoughts on the episode, and then we'll go around the room, and you guys can just kind of give us your like kind of thoughts on the episode, and we'll continue our conversation all over the place after that. And then, audience, if you have any questions about the stuff we're talking about, I still have questions about like
About why are we rambling so much?
As
Yeah,
well,
that's a
because we're all
question.
excited. We're
I
so
want
that's
to
the
excited.
line.
address the whole CMO thing because I know it feels like she's being relegated, but I don't think she is. I think that Beverly has a lot more life experience and experience of being on the run the last 2 months. And so she's being a good CMO and taking the lead of someone who's more experienced while also like being at her side. Because obviously on Star Trek Picard, we want to see Beverly anyway. So it kind of works.
Right.
I don't have a problem with
Right.
Beverly taking the lead on this because I think she knows more than maybe this
think after she
exploratory
saw-
ship CMO who's not like on the Enterprise. It's kind of a different role. So I think
after she saved
Beverly
Shaw's
had
life,
She was
you
like,
know,
yeah.
she was like, "All right, well."
Yeah.
But
I'll
also,
learn
she was
from
like,
this.
I don't have
Mhm.
time to explain to you all the advancements in 20 years. I'm like, she's been working out.
She's still working.
There.
I
She
know.
But I would
Yeah.
also point out though that the Titan's doctor is a Trill and could have many, many lifetimes of experience.
That
Well,
is true.
I-
she
I
she
But I don't
did
think she's
say
joined.
in Twitter that she is joined. She
The
did
actor
mention
said
that.
the
Oh,
character's
okay.
joined.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a
so
good point
Oak is
too.
the
That's a good point,
symbiont's
too.
name.
Yes.
So Oak is the symbiont. That's a cool name for a symbiont.
Yeah.
Oak.
Mm-hmm.
Are they all
Not as
three
good as
letters?
Rick's, but-
Tall, Dax. Yeah, it's true. Rick's. Is it always three letter
Well,
names?
Odon's
as good as
4,
Rick's.
but he was kind of a different
Odon.
trail. So
I
I,
forgot
don't
about
know.
Odon.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he'll
And,
pop up or
Oh
she'll pop
gosh,
up. I don't
please
know.
no.
Man,
No.
But that's
Oh my
good. I
God.
get it. She's a Trill. She's joined. She may have had many lifetimes of experience, but maybe not in this area. And maybe with
Yeah.
what's going on here. And I'm open to having Beverly take the lead on this because honestly, it feels
Mhm.
like she's kind of, unless she's a changeling, and then it's all.
Unless she's a
Not
change.
bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, here's Stan now, guys. Finally. Sorry about the glitch earlier. Here we go.
On screen.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for letting me be part of the live, even though I'm not live. Really appreciate it. I'm going to do the episode recap and kick off our top five.
Oh, he was.
Oh,
Nice.
no.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we should let him do
Episode
it.
5. The Titan makes a pit stop once back inside the assumed safety of Federation borders to bust out the worker bees and make much needed repairs. Picard and Riker both know they will need to answer for their actions, but after a ceremonial changing of the guard back to Captain Shaw, he informs our heroes he's already contacted Starfleet and they are on their way. Before he must face the music, Jean-Luc brings Beverly and Jack up to speed. Beverly knows there's more to the situation and gets permission to do the autopsy on the changeling, still in the form of Sydney, insert reference to my father, LaForge. Jean-Luc suggests Jack join Starfleet once he has answered for his crimes. It's called foreshadowing, people, and it is chef's kiss writing that really hits when our special guest comes in. But foreshadowing be damned, Jack says no. We cut away to Intalis Prime and pick back up with Worf and Rafi, attempting to root out who broke into Daystrom Station. Sneed would have the answer, but Klingon pacifism makes asking him impossible. So they hatch a plan to find another associate. Sadly not Brunt, FCA, but a cool one nonetheless. Back on the Titan, the gorgeous USS Intrepid warps in and shuttles over security to investigate the situation. Captain Shaw gleefully escorts Riker and Picard to get their asses handed to them. And reveal of reveals, Commander, Ro, I found a better way, Laren. Dr. Crusher uncovers an insidious new aspect of the changelings. They can pass blood screenings and even in death retain their shape and passable organs, getting past current anti-changeling protocols. Ro questions Picard, who questions Ro, suspecting the other could be a changeling. And on the way to inspect the changeling body, she pulls a phaser and demands to see the 10 forward set, the holodeck. Jean-Luc turns the tide with a Guinan reference and a phaser to back it up. The two finally get to tell each other what they've wanted to say for 30 years, and in doing so, they realize they can trust each other once again. Starfleet has been compromised. Changelings are everywhere, including the Intrepid. Ro has a mission for Picard and his skeleton crew: skedaddle and find out what the hell is going on while she delays the Intrepid, though not in the way she had originally intended. I'll cut the recap there and let you all get to it.
See, that's much better. He should do the recap every week.
You should recap all the time.
That is great.
Stan gets to do all the recaps for now.
That is great.
Although Matt did a great job, it's just the wine got in the way.
No. That was so much better. Mine
That
was
is so
original.
good.
Matt, I'm also bad at summaries, so don't worry.
I mean,
I'm
for a
just glad you
sober
didn't ask
summary,
me.
it was
I'm
pretty good.
like,
That's your-
I know I'm the new kid, but I wouldn't know how to.
I get
Marcel,
derailed
you've
too easily,
Should've
so
done.
I'm better off.
Anyone
I can
else
tell you
should have
everything about
done.
Crusher, but everything else I'd be like, there was Ro,
right.
and then there was
It's like
Worf and
Beverly,
Rafi.
plot, Beverly,
Totally
plot.
another
That's
thing.
Crusher combo. That's what you get.
Hey,
Marcelo-
the ship looks mean.
doesn't-
Yes.
That's mean, yes.
I have a picture of the ship. I'll put it up in a second. Marcelo, what did you think of the episode overall? Broad thoughts.
I thought it was great. It was great seeing Ensign Ro again. I thought I was never going to see her again after her thing in Next Gen, but it was really wonderful to see her again. She went out like a boss. I really liked the fact that Worf almost died in this episode, although when he died, I cursed Terry Metalis' name. I was like, "No, you did not just kill Worf like that. I swear to God, I almost cursed at the man." But I was so happy that was like a fake out. I don't think Beverly is a changeling. I don't think that Terry would do something that's stupid. But if he does, I'll never forgive him for it. I think that, I think this episode is good, but it wasn't as good as the previous episodes for me, because it was good, but it wasn't great for me. So yeah.
All right. Ken, what about you?
So I thought it was a strong episode. I agree with Marcelo that last week's was really strong. I think No Win Scenario was a fantastic episode, one of the best Star Trek's done in a very, very long time. This one was, however, very, very good. And, there's a lot of questions, as there should be. I think that the idea of starting a new arc and this concept of how they're building the series with basically an Act 1 and now we're into Act 2, I think it's fantastic. I loved seeing Michelle Forbes come back. She just commands the screen. She was fantastic. Because of her, there were some people who took a bit of a backseat in this episode. I did love the sort of the pre-title sequence, which sort of harkens back a little bit to Star Trek II's Kobayashi Maru, where everybody dies on the bridge, which I thought was kind of cool. I'm glad that it wasn't actually there. And like I said before, when I saw that and I saw everyone being shot, I was thinking that Trev's having a heart attack right now. But that fortunately everyone actually lived. I do think, and I have it. We could talk about theories, I guess, in a little bit. That everyone is talking about, is Beverly or is she not, and it's going to be a heartbreak and everything else. One thing that I did not say on the Crusher convo is, if you'll recall, Vatic seems to be joined, right? She seems to be.
We found out she's a full changeling.
Is she?
Yeah, she's just a freak and likes to cut off her changeling hand to.
How do we find out she's a full changeling? No.
Terry Metalis.
Terry.
Yeah.
Sorry, we found out offline. Yeah, we didn't find out
Yeah.
in the show. But actually, after watching it again, like, I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe she is. Like, they're just doing weird. These are different changelings, obviously. Like,
So she cut off
they're
her
able to
hand
do
and her
something.
personality changed. I think that, not that Beverly is a changeling. I mean, although that's what I said at Crusher Convo, because I do think that they have built up such emotional stuff with all of these folks, with all of us, that if she's not really Beverly Crusher and you have all of these big emotional hits, the fandom's never going to forgive her. Never going to forgive Terry Metalis. However, if she is joined with another changeling and it's Beverly and another entity together, like it could be with Vatic, that might be what's going on here. So that's a possibility.
Oh yeah, and also Terry Metalis lies because he has to. So
yeah, he
maybe
lies.
it is that. Yeah, so it's like,
And so,
like they all lie because they have to. Like, so yeah, it's true. Good point.
So the autopsy scene where Beverly is sciencing it up, and she went, she's the one who had all of this stuff about learning about what is going on with this. The last episode, she had made that comment that, and I said this on Crusher Convo. She said, things are about to get a lot worse. That was almost like a throwaway line. What is she talking about? But anyway, so there's a lot going on with Beverly that's happening there. And we know that Jack, if she's got Howard genes in her, Beverly Howard genes in her, and him, then, maybe there's some Traveler stuff going on there. So, and the Travelers are able to find people. But I do
Why
like.
doesn't Beverly have powers? Does she? I guess she does.
She does have powers. You got to have a lamp. That's how you get her powers.
But it could be coming from.
Stand down, Jesse. Stand down. We don't have time to get into our Sub Rosa discourse.
Yeah.
You have to release that on the pod.
We don't have time to argue about
There's
time.
no time.
Yeah,
No time.
that's time.
We need
I'm being
time.
triggered, Ken. Oh my
It's Barbara
gosh.
Eden and IGZ. No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Two
So-
things for. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No. And I think it was overall was really, really strong. I loved the dynamic between Michelle Forbes and Patrick Stewart. I loved the dynamic, of course, between Riker and Picard. Jonathan Frakes kills it every scene. Todd Stashwick deserves his own series. He's just fantastic. And the turbolift scene, we saved the galaxy, and him putting
Those
them
were the
in their place.
days.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's,
And it
a real
harkened,
chicken and the egg
Yeah.
situation.
and it harkened back to when Kirk said, I was saving the galaxy while your great-great-granddad was in diapers. So Kirk said that to Picard, and Picard didn't have a Captain Shaw comeback for Captain Kirk. But anyway, so I thought it was fantastic overall.
Very nice. Before we go on to the next person, I just want to say in the audience, Lucky Bird Poop said, to be fair, the bowl was not large enough for Vatic to climb into. Now, she could have gooed into it, which is, if she's like a changeling, but that's a good point. Maybe it was a little tiny receptacle. Maybe you do have to cut like a piece of you off to. The other thing people were complaining about that I saw on the internet is that Odo could just like separate parts of himself, right? Like without having to cut stuff off. But remember, these are like different changelings. They've got fleshy bits, and so maybe you do have to like literally cut a part of you off, and then it could be a little painful even to join back together, which is interesting. I wonder. So, and then Lucky Bird Poop also saw you, Matt, reacting to it, and I was reacting to it too.
It just took me off guard so much.
It caught me a little strange, mostly because I was picturing it. I was picturing her trying to climb
exactly.
into.
That's what I was picturing her just sitting in it,
right, talking to her boss.
Right. Hi, I'm clocking in.
Right.
Our friend Aaron Harvey says, I wonder if the Picard logs playing and all that memorabilia in the first episode seems like she's trying to learn more about Picard, not just.
So
Ooh.
We mentioned that in Crusher Combo.
Ugh.
We did.
I just want to interject one thing about, because I've seen this floating around on Twitter a lot. The only thing I want to say to that point, let's remember what log specifically she was playing. Like, she specifically sought out his old logs, knowing that he was a tactical mastermind. I mean, he was the captain of the flagship of the Federation. He had his own thing. The log that was playing was the log when he was explaining what he was doing to hide from the Borg in the nebula. And that's exactly what she did. So the way I took that, not that I'm poo-pooing on anyone, I will never say no to anyone's, ideas. But I really think what the writers were doing was saying that she had dug into his old logs, knowing, like, I'm in a tough situation. This is someone that has proven himself time and time again. What can I learn? And then she paralleled his tactic. So I would say, and I'm not saying no, I obviously don't have any insight into, I have some insight into future episodes, but not like that. And I do think that it was more of a statement on her reaching out to his memory, which then led to her reaching out to him for help. I think that was just step one of her then leading herself to saying, I really need his help. That's just I wanted to say that. I've seen that all over.
But
Twitter,
also,
so, yeah.
But also, who was he hiding from in that log?
I mean, he was hiding from the Borg.
And she was reading that log specifically. Her son might have nanoprobes. I'm just saying.
Also, I did forget to say something about the episode that I didn't give a damn about. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn about the chief medical officer on the Titan. Beverly can take over that entire medical section. I don't give a damn about that woman.
I mean,
hold up. I don't give a damn about that woman.
She's a Trill. I defend Trill.
I don't care.
There you go.
What?
it's not that we don't care about her, it's just that the story is not about her. So we're ready to move on.
See,
And she
that's
was
it.
kind of a
That's
bitch.
it.
Yeah.
The story is not about her, and she was a bit of a bitch. So that's why I don't
Wow.
care.
Okay.
That's okay.
Who was next?
I'm done.
All of those lifetimes and no manners. That's awkward.
Jesse, next.
I'm done.
I'm next. Okay, perfect. So I really like they brought Ro back to give her a better ending than what she got in The Next Generation. When I first saw The Next Generation last year, I did not care for it. I thought it was dumb. I was really not happy. And then it was just like, that was it. So I was happy they brought her back to rectify that story. I was kind of upset that she died. I mean, like, I was like, maybe another episode and then she died. Like, I don't know. I felt it was kind of quick, but I did like that they did that. And I did like that she had the one-on-one with Picard. That was great. I did like the Raffi and Worf scenes. I watched it with my husband this morning, and when Raffi stabbed Worf, he's like, he better not die. No, Worf better not be dead. Like, he was having a heart attack. And I was like, calm down. It's fine, But all that was great. I clocked that the guy from 12 Monkeys was the
That's Kirk Acevedo,
Yep.
and he plays
he played Ramsey
on 12 Monkeys, and he's amazing. I screamed.
loved
Someone
it.
in the audience asked if I yelped. I did. I was like,
yeah.
He's
I
also-
was like, yeah, it's him. That's the guy from 12 Monkeys. So because you got me into 12 Monkeys, you told me to watch it. And so I was like, I knew we were having a moment, right? So all that was great. But of course, I'm all about Beverly Crusher, so I was definitely clocking in everything with Jack and Beverly and Picard. Of course, we got only one scene with Beverly and Picard, whatever. Okay. But yeah, I was flip-flopping of like, something's up with Beverly. Either she's a changeling or she knows something's up, especially that last scene with Jack. When Jack, of course, attacked those changelings, I felt that he was like activated and he did stuff that he normally wouldn't done, like, Dodge did in season 1. So clearly there's something going on with him. I had mentioned Cisco Prophet vibes earlier in the season. And then now I feel maybe it is the Palwraiths. It could be the Borg. we just don't know with Jack at this point. But I think the writers know what they're doing. They're making a second guess everybody. So
What if he's
'cause you can't
all of
trust
the
anybody.
above? Like he's a chimera. What would
Good
that be,
Lord,
like a
that's a
chimera
lot of
being or
stuff.
something?
And then I was like, can't Beverly just have one non-special child? You know, I'm like, good Lord. But
I guess
you
the
know,
answer is no.
no, apparently not. And this one's like, I mean, Wesley was up there, but I don't know. I think Jack is up here.
Giving
especially having
Wesley a
dad like
run
Picard.
for her money, I tell you that. Poor woman.
Yeah. So, but that end scene, I love the end scene. We never really got Wesley and Beverly scenes in The Next Generation. So I love that one-on-one, but just there was a couple of things that she said. I was like, I don't know what's going on. But well,
Do you guys think she's gonna do the head kiss, the forehead touch?
That's what I'm hoping.
thing?
That's one of my
It's on our checklist.
It's on my
I know.
checkbox.
That's right.
I have 3. One's already been checked. I wanted a lab coat,
Nice.
and then I wanted a forehead touch, and then I'm hoping for the penny for your thoughts. What if I get
that's
those
right,
3? I will be happy.
Terry Metalis is frantically like reshooting scenes right now. He's like, I gotta make Jesse happy.
No, he's
so I'm
not.
gonna
No, he's not.
I wish. Actually, he just retweeted my PB&J. He said he endorses it.
That was a good tweet. Too. I like
Oh my God.
Yep. Yeah.
Love
Shades
that.
of The Office and Jim and Pam forever. So Picard and Beverly.
Picard and Beverly and Jack. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mhm.
So
Trev.
I'll probably be brief, which is highly unusual. So if they told me that season 3 was going to be 1 episode, and it was an episode that properly tied up Ro Laren's story, you could have just given me the 50 minutes, and I would have been very, 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 very happy.
Mhm.
This episode is quite possibly my favorite of. It's in my top 5 of all Star Trek right now, because of how much I love the character of Ro Laren, how much I was crazily disappointed when I found out Michelle Forbes didn't want to go on to DS9. But then we got Nana Visitor, and I fell in love with her, and I fell in love with Kira. And I'm just happy that now I get 2 amazing Bajoran women in my Star Trek life. I, for like a split second, kind of winced when I realized she was going to, like, as soon as they planted the bomb, which, by the way, changelings should probably invent smaller bombs. Like, just like, where are they pulling those things from? I don't want to know the answer to that question. No theories, please. So like, as soon as the bomb was pulled, I was like, okay, she's dying. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, I for some weird reason, narratively and just with the character and knowing that we weren't going to get her forever, I just accepted that that's how she was going to go out, and she was going to go out like a boss, and she did. And it was a beautiful ending to such a tortured soul. She chose when she chose to die, to save people. And for someone who watched her father tortured to death, and grew up under the occupation, and just the full evolution of her was brilliant. The fact that Starfleet needed her twice after she was in prison twice was also brilliant. So I loved everything about that, and can just kind of, I went to bed happy, but it took me, I've mentioned before, my superpower is sleeping. I can do it anywhere, anyhow, anytime. I could not sleep last night because I was just on a high from this episode.
That's awesome.
All that being said, if 2 last things. One, if Beverly is a changeling in that scene, it doesn't mean she has been the entire series or even the entire episode. It'd be really cool to suddenly see her leave sickbay and then Beverly walk in again and be like, what are you talking about, Jack? Because they're changelings. They're going to continue morphing into people as it's advantageous for them. And then the only other piece was, and this was touched on during Crusher Convo, Jay kind of tiptoed into what I was really feeling about the episode with respect to Ro and her relationship with Picard and the resolution that happened there, is that Ro and her death taught Picard how to forgive. Regardless of whether you agree that he needs to forgive Beverly, whether you think that her decision was right and she was 1,000% in the right, or if you think, like I think most of us have landed somewhere in the she did the wrong thing for right reasons kind of realm, he will need to forgive her. He can't hold this grudge for 30 years like he did with Ro, and Ro taught him that, and her sacrifice taught him that, and that is just beautiful. That their relationship and him forgiving Ro and Ro giving him the gift of forgiveness, regardless of which direction it's flowing, may actually give Picard the family that he never knew he needed. And so I think the conversation from Beverly is coming, and it's going to be more powerful and more brilliant because
And
of
meaningful.
and yeah, it's going to have meaning for not just the character but for us, the viewer, and it's going to have been earned because of his forgiveness of Ro. And that's all
I
I
like
got.
it.
I feel like we could just stop right there.
I know, I'll allow it.
But
Well,
we'll go
but
to
to your
Michelle.
point-
Drink him if you got him.
Go ahead, Ken. No,
To
go
your
ahead.
point, Rev, when Riker said, I know how much she meant to you, and Picard said, no, I don't think you do, and I don't even think I do. I thought that was just really powerful.
Mhm.
And Riker slept with her, so I mean, they had something going there.
Oh, that's right.
Did I
That's
forget
right.
something? Riker's
In
Conundrum.
Conundrum.
It's
In
when
Conundrum.
Conundrum, when they
Yeah.
lost their memories.
Which is
Yep.
also when we learned Beverly's parents' names and that they
Oh,
died.
that's right, that's right.
I forgot about that.
Weird episode.
Super weird episode.
All over the place on that one.
We forgot our memories. Let's just bang everyone. Like it. No, that's how it works. Gene Roddenberry.
Well, that's a
In
nice
fairness,
segue. Yeah.
I'm
That
sorry,
is
that
what
was
I
so
normally
funny.
do on Pride.
Can I also just say?
There you go.
Can I
Normally you don't lose your memory and then have sex. Normally you have sex and then lose your memory. Like, did I sleep with him? Like that's yeah.
You know what's
Don't
really
judge
cool?
my order of operations.
I'm no, that's not your order of operations.
Oh
That
my
is-
god.
that's
How many
Coolest thing
glasses
about
of
just the
wine
order of
have
operation.
been
Oh,
consumed? I just
God.
am curious.
The
Wow.
coolest thing about Star Trek.
Jesus Christ.
The coolest
The
thing about
bottle.
us.
Right.
The coolest thing about Star Trek of today being set in so many different time periods is that we have opportunities to get Ro on Lower Decks, Prodigy,
Wait a minute.
potentially,
Wait a minute.
and if we get a Titan show, we could get her in flashbacks.
Wait a
So
minute. Wait a second.
what's that?
Wait a second. Was Ro on Lower Decks, or did I forget
No, I'm saying
something?
you
No.
could. You could.
Oh, I
do it.
could. I could.
Like that's the cool thing about like Star Trek having different time cycles.
But
or
I wonder,
whatever,
it would be
you know?
interesting to know what the conversation was with Michelle Forbes, because she had said no, as we talked about so many times. It's the kind of thing where, they may have said to her one episode, right?
Yes.
And
It was like a Leonard Nimoy situation. Well, you
Exactly,
remember
I was
when
just thinking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like where he's like, I'm really done with this character, but I'll do this, and then maybe she rediscovers she liked it, but I felt like I'll just go into my thoughts on the episode.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
I really felt like this was Michelle Forbes' swan song with Star Trek, which was awesome. I didn't think she was going to make it out of the episode, but I thought her scenes with Patrick Stewart were very powerful. And I love the way that this show is taking these big plot lines and twists and turns and just the underlying depth of it is these characters and their feelings for each other. And like, we're not afraid to get touchy-feely, we're not afraid of emotion, but we're also dealing with a bigger plot, and it's well written, it's thought out. I had mixed feelings when I saw it the first time through, because I'm like, I just want to see what's going on. Like, I don't understand what's going on with Beverly, and I'm not feeling right, and I don't really care about that. Like, I really had I texted Jesse. I'm like, I don't know what to think.
I said, watch it again.
So I was going to, yes. So I did watch it again, and I loved it because the first time too, I was getting weird vibes with Picard and Ro, which may be valid. Like when he says, you broke my heart, was it coming from a paternal place or was it coming from a romantic place? I don't like that was kind of, I have always seen them paternally, also because he was her XO and she was like, was she even a commander? I think she was an ensign. Like, there's just a weird power dynamic. There was a weird, I don't think it was romantic, but the first time I watched it, I was thinking, was he with Ro during Attached and during like?
Yes, she was panicking.
I'm like, what is going on? I don't understand why.
I always
Picard
saw
keeps
the
talking-
father-daughter thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of watched it through the lens of, okay, maybe, and it parallels nicely with Jack. I said this on Crusher Convo, because she is specifically calling him out for, him basically, I mean, Jesse used the word grooming a little bit. Like, you're just pushing Starfleet on everyone, and you're like, they're not living up to your standards and the institution that you believe in. And so therefore you just dismiss them because everything is conditional. He doesn't know what unconditional love is. And that's part of it, and even after what happened in seasons 1 and 2, he didn't know. How was he not aware that Ro Laren was back in Starfleet? He's an admiral, like he's retired, but you'd think that he would have known that Ro Laren turned herself in, that she rose through the ranks, but he didn't know any of that. Just like he didn't know.
She was in Starfleet Intelligence, though. I don't know that he would have even had access.
Also,
Right.
I don't check up on people that I don't like.
Yeah,
Or
well,
I'm mad at. Like,
I
definitely
guess.
don't
Also,
like-
he's
like-
been waiting to
gonna-
have this conversation for 30 years, though. He's rehearsed it.
He
So-
blocked her
I'm
on
gonna-
Starfleet book.
I'm also just going to be the wet blanket for a second and point out that she probably wasn't back in Starfleet in season 1 and 2.
Oh, yeah.
She probably wasn't there because it wasn't written as well. So
Well,
Oh wow.
we won't go
Well,
there.
yeah, it's a
but-
plot. It's a plot point, right?
Well, it's like Beverly wasn't missing for 20 years until they were like, "Oh, we never said her name in seasons 1 or 2, so we're golden."
oh, right,
She
she's
does-
still alive.
She does say
Mhm.
she
Yes.
does say that she went through like a lot of rehabilitation and stuff like that, and then someone said it, and I think that's correct that she was in Starfleet intelligence. The whole thing about the admiral not like knowing stuff, like I think that's legit because he does seem like even in season 1 and 2 of Picard, Matt, he seems out of touch. Like he does that news report and doesn't say
He's
like
pissed.
he totally disses on Starfleet and like
Well, that's the other weird thing.
You
Like
know,
he's
like-
so pro Starfleet, and yet he was so hurt by Starfleet. So for me, this episode was a lot about Picard coming to terms again. That's like as if the Romulan evacuation effort didn't show him enough that Starfleet is not a perfect institution that you should be forcing on everyone, especially your son, who is his mother has clearly said she's trying to protect him, and neither of them really want to get involved with Starfleet anymore. Like she made a clean break, and he's like, again, like Beverly has raised him, and he's his own man now, but Picard is like basically inviting Jack to go to Starfleet when Beverly's like, don't involve Starfleet. Like he's kind of, again, rubbing up against
he's
that.
like out of,
What
yeah,
the hell?
I think he
You
is
know.
out of touch. Like
Yeah.
know, there's things that can happen that way. Like I used to work at Apple, and I have no idea what's going on inside Apple. It's a lot like.
Oh yeah, I
Starfleet,
get that.
actually. Like,
I get
you know
that.
what I mean? Like,
what I'm
once
saying
you're
is just
yeah.
it's weird he's going kind of against Beverly's wishes and just kind of inserting things.
No, yeah,
and the
yeah.
fact that he is so blind to who Ro Laren is, and then for him to come to that moment where he says, I see you. And like to have that, it reminded me of Suspicions when Beverly had stolen the shuttlecraft and he's like going back and forth with her and she had disobeyed his orders and he was upset with her, but he was also concerned. Like there was a little bit of that going on too. And it was very moving, the storyline, but oh boy. Jill actually said something interesting about how we don't know everything about why Bev ghosted all her friends. Sounds big, like maybe there's nothing to
Right.
forgive at all. So even Jill has kind of come around on Beverly, which I'm excited about. But I think that this is just proving again, for me, this episode is like the launch to the next, to act 2. Like we're
It is.
gonna,
Mhm.
and we're moving forward. We're still on the run. Things are not good. Shaw was great, and like I mean, Shaw is annoying, but he's also, I love him. Like I love his, like when he dropped, like yeah, you're kind of chicken and egg, like like what are you doing? And I loved like Seven was kind of on the periphery in this episode. I wish we could get a Seven and Beverly scene, but they did pass the Bechdel test in this episode, which I forgot to mention with the CMO and Beverly and LaForge, which was nice. So that was cool. And I just thought it was a really solid episode and an emotional episode. Ro Laren in Disaster and TNG, she kind of left a bad taste in my mouth, but I understand where she's coming from with her background. So it was nice that her storyline got wrapped up. I wasn't as emotional as maybe some might have been because they love that character. But I thought it was a to be continued kind of again. And Worf and Raffi, yeah, let's see where that's going. I did not think Worf was dead for a second. So
No, I didn't.
I was like,
either.
here we
Yeah,
go.
that's true.
Let's just get to the reunion. I know it's not a reunion, but let's get to it.
Remind me what the
Yes.
Bechdel test is.
So like 2 women in a room talking, but they're not talking about like a man or relationships or you know, it's like a kind of litmus test for, are we serving our female characters well? And TNG was notorious for not doing that. So I always think it's nice when we can see Beverly in a scene and it passes the Bechdel test.
I immediately remembered what it was when you started saying, okay, cool. I gotta remember the name of the test. That scene's delightful. I love Sydney LaForge vomiting everywhere and then coming back later and just being like, so? like, you know, like
what does that mean?
The only,
Yeah.
the only
What
thing
does
that
that
bothered
mean?
me was how close she was standing to Beverly after puking and just talking to her. And Beverly's just
Which-
like,
Gates
Sydney
McFadden
LaForge-
is great at comedy. She's great at
Okay,
comedy,
really good,
and
yeah.
I thought that was a really nice beat. I was surprised that Beverly. I mean, I guess she knew LaForge was okay, but she wasn't like looking back concerned. She was like, "Oh, she means yes," like, you know.
Yeah.
And somebody else just brought up in the chat how Beverly, like how Picard was like, "Hey, you guys can leave the ship now. Everything's fine, and I guess maybe I'll be part of your lives." So I guess when he said their lives, I was like, oh, at least he's considering it. But also, dude, the danger's not over. And Beverly and Jack are like, dude, this is what?
What are you talking
I'm sorry.
about? Mm-hmm.
He's ready to
he's
let them go again. He's like, go off. Like,
Go
you
back to
almost
your
died.
lives. Mm-hmm.
But like, what? Come on, Picard, stop walking away from your family. It's ridiculous.
Some weird noises outside my hotel room. I hope everything's okay.
It's the changelings.
It's the changelings. They're coming after me. Very cool. PJ, welcome to the stream. I know you were listening in the chat, so you know what's going on. What did you think overall? Broad thoughts about this episode.
Well, first off, I didn't like the first scene with the fake out bridge massacre. It was just like the one in Discovery Season 2. I don't like fake out stuff like that. I didn't even like when Worf fake died. It's just, I don't want, I'm interested in where the Jack storyline is going, but in this particular episode, I just did not care. I think the thing that made the episode for me was the Rolaren stuff. I thought the drama between her and Picard is a little overcooked, a little overplayed, but it worked, and it was a great conclusion to Preemptive Strike, which I watched only a couple of weeks ago. So it's like fresh in my memory, and it was a good conclusion. And her sacrifice at the end, it was really good. I kind of saw it coming, but it was like, yeah. And, she knew she was screwed either way. So, like, if she beams back to the Titan, she's not going to give them that fighting chance. She gives them a chance to run away. I like the fact that there's a sense of dread now, like, oh my God, like everything's so bad. What's anybody going to do? And I don't like Worf and Raffi in District 6. We've been there, I don't know, like 4 times now, asking criminals stupid questions, and the criminals aren't very interesting. And I like Worf's, like, comedic tone, and I like the chemistry between him and Raffi, but I'm glad they're moving on now. And the only time I want to see them go back to Metalis Prime is if Raffi sees her granddaughter, because that needs to happen by the end, or else I'm going to be like annoyed. But Michelle Forbes, and man, they're getting their money's worth. People have described this as a bottle season, and they're getting their money's worth out of the Titan sets and the 10 Forward bar, because they find every excuse to go there, which is okay. As long as the drama's good and the dialogue is good, they really have a lot of good scenes in there, so that's fine. But yeah, it's just I was not interested in anything with Jack or Worf and Raffi in this particular episode, but I am interested in seeing where that goes. I don't think Beverly is a changeling. I don't think any of that is true. I think Jack is some kind of weapon, like. That's why they want him.
Mm-hmm.
Does
Somehow
Beverly
he's a weapon
know?
against the changeling.
No.
Beverly knows more. I think Beverly knows more than she's saying, but I don't think she's being underhanded.
And I like the idea that might not have been Beverly. Oh my gosh, this show's so crazy. This show's nuts. The show is
It's
nuts.
Beverly. It was Beverly. Come on.
No, but like, what if a changeling? Like there's other changelings on
If
the
a
ship.
changeling
Like, that's my
got her,
thing.
she might be dead in a closet somewhere. I don't want that to happen.
No, but it
Stop.
could also. They could also just
but just
assume
for a
you're-
second, right?
Yeah, like
That's
she
what
just
you're
wants
saying?
to know.
Yeah.
Like,
Beverly
yeah,
could have been
yeah.
in her quarters, and then it was a changeling that had the
Yeah, we
conversation
know,
Yeah,
right.
and
like
left.
what happened with LaForge, like kind of deal.
Oh, exactly.
You know what?
yeah,
It's
exactly.
I am interested in the fact that they're different. Like, why are they different? There's something else to be revealed. Probably another species is involved.
You
Like,
guys
the
think the
effects were
good in
transporters
that
have
part.
something to do with this?
Yeah,
I
something
feel like
up with
they're
that
focusing
too,
on the transporters a lot, and
With the
like maybe
patterns.
they're getting the pattern. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
Mhm.
maybe they found a way to like easily turn into the organs and stuff by using the transporter patterns.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
that makes sense.
Ro did
Yeah.
Ro did say that there have been
Yep.
fleet-wide issues over months
Right.
because of the
Mhm.
transporters, and that's why she wouldn't use the transporters.
And then, of course, when Jack
Oh, that's
saw all
interesting.
of them transporting onto the Intrepid, it became red. And that's why I
Mhm.
was saying,
Oh,
like, he can
yeah.
see
Mm.
the changeling stuff. And so I think possibly that's
Esmer
how they're
must be a
able to
changeling?
change.
Might be a
Maybe.
change.
I
That
was
was
actually
Or-
thinking it would be cool if one of the bridge crew were like turned out to
Were
be
a
a changeling, as
changeling.
long as it's
Mhm.
not Mara.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that would be bad.
You're right. That would be a lot of wasted potential on Myrna. Like that
Yeah.
would be. You could find a better one than him to have be a
Right.
changeling. You're right.
Mhm.
Although the personality does fit.
Matt, you
Oh,
kind of
Matt,
gave.
why do you want to fight? Why do you want to fight me?
Matt,
So
you
there's
kinda-
so I have one theory that came up, which I'm almost positive is correct, but we'll find out. So the Vulcan, Kirk Acevita, said that there is a super intelligent AI that is guarding Daystrom Station with highly illogical elements to it. My guess, Moriarty.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Why not?
Okay.
The
Yeah,
little
that makes
chamber that
total
they
sense,
showed
actually.
is the same place
Yeah.
that they showed him popping up in the
It
trailer.
might be.
so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Again, I think we're missing the real villain of this season, Peanut Hamper, who is probably there.
It is definitely Peanut Hamper. Yeah.
Sorry,
I
She's
would
the
leaving.
true
I'm
villain.
leaving.
She's the true villain of all Star Trek. She
Yeah.
I
is-
am
Patrick,
I am
she
is
leaving
the
this chat.
antithesis.
Thanks,
I
Michelle.
hate that one.
All roads lead to
She
It's
Peanut.
triggered
true.
me.
It's true.
No, I mean she
Peanut
is.
Hamper.
I hate her.
I
With
hate
a
her
pattern.
too.
It's like the
I-
Anej
I-
reference
Hate
tonight.
her.
We just don't
She
acknowledge it.
I like
didn't
Anej.
Also-
I like
Wow.
Anej. I'm sorry, I do.
Stop it.
You know, it's that
Nope.
pouty lip thing she does. It's that.
First of all,
Hamper
I don't
sucks.
think he snogged her, but that's fine. Like, yeah.
I think he did.
I think he
Yeah,
chose
I think, yeah.
But
They
he
did
did,
not
so
technically-
young.
he
Enjoy
did
it.
not. He did not technically break the Prime Directive to do it. Remember, they were already a warp-capable civilization.
That's right. That's the
Yeah.
workaround.
That's yeah.
Yeah. But just think about it. If they were on and off, he was on and off of Beverly 5 times. So
True.
when rewatch her, how she looks at him in Insurrection,
Now
Oh,
it makes
when
it's
he's
sense.
with the niche,
By far,
What
my
other
favorite movie.
AI
Like,
that and bring
what
in the
other
retcon.
AI would be
Can do
a
it.
contender
Anyway.
other than Moriarty? Because I
Control? No.
no,
Oh,
it's
God.
not Control. Look at
Yeah,
my
right.
face.
If it turns out to be Control, I'm gonna break my television.
Maybe it's the Beta 5 computer from Gary 7.
No, it's
Beta
not.
No.
5 snobbery.
Oh, that'd be fun. That would be
Yeah.
fun.
I'd
It
rather
would violate the
ISIS
temporal
cat.
prime directive, but
Yeah, it's true.
No.
Or ISIS
'Cause,
the
like,
cat.
Because like it could be Moriarty, but I could have sworn Daniel Davis said he's in episode 8 in his leaked thingy. He didn't.
Well, he's
say
only
that.
in one, right? He's only in
He's
one.
only
That's
in
way
one
too close
episode
to
of
the
it.
end.
Like the big bad of this season has to be. It's probably the most obvious choice, which is Lore. It's going to be Lore. I'm telling you.
But Lure doesn't make any sense. I mean,
I think Lore is
David
just
shot
stored
Lure.
there. I don't think he's the
Yeah.
AI. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's what they sprung from there. I think they're gonna find out from Moriarty that Lore was taken, if that's the case.
so can I
But then
give
in
a
No,
just
go ahead,
so we're all on the same page?
Oh,
Can
yeah.
I give a small recap about Daniel Day-Lewis's
Daniel
Daniel
Day-Lewis is in
Davis.
Star Trek Picard? That's
Daniel
amazing.
Day-Lewis.
What?
You know,
It's a piano. That's what it's going to be.
again, the wine. Okay, I'm really
Okay.
asking for your grace tonight.
It's a
Oh,
small
God.
glass. He can't climb in. He's just got to cut off his
Daniel
arm.
Day Kim. When Daniel Day Kim.
No, there you
played
go.
No, Daniel
Moriarty,
Day Kim. Yeah.
Hey, if Daniel Day Kim is
Daniel
in
Day
this
Kim.
season, I am in. Like, okay, sorry, go
If
on.
Daniel
Wow.
Day Kim is on anything, I'm in. But what he said in his interview was that he reprised the role, and I'm just giving high-level bullet points, reprised the role for a single episode, and it is not the Moriarty that we know. So we need to remember that this is not the Moriarty. I have never heard that, Ken, from like that. I've heard a lot of different things, and I've heard details about future episodes. I have not heard that, and I love that. I cannot confirm or deny because I genuinely don't know, but I love that idea, and it would fit perfectly. But remember, the Moriarty that we're going to see is not the Moriarty that is stuck in the little cube and is going on his endless adventures. I'm only saying that, and I don't say that as a spoiler to anyone. I like that was said in an interview, and I want everyone to temper their expectations with when we see Moriarty. Like,
So
I feel like a lot of people have been doing a lot of like hoping and suggesting for Moriarty. That I think is the most plausible, and I genuinely could see that.
Nice.
Well,
Jesse
they
Genders
said- he
in
said
the
it's
audience. I
highly-
just want to interrupt for a second to say hi to Jesse. I love you. Okay,
Oh, hi,
there
Jesse.
you can carry on.
Hi, Jesse. Just because the way that what was the Vulcan character's name?
Kryn?
Bryn?
Kryn.
Very Klingon name for a Vulcan. But I think that the way he said it, that he's like some very highly illogical things. Super intelligent AI, very highly illogical. It just sounded right. And the chip that they sort of plugged in, just said, trying to figure out where Moriarty fits in. And in the scene we've seen, he's pointing a gun. And like you said, Trev, it looks a lot like, the cutaway to Daystrom Station looked a lot like what we saw in the preview clip. So we'll see. Maybe fun.
So
Fun.
could the hack be Moriarty as a program being used to hack into Daystrom?
That would be cool.
Oh,
That could also be it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love these
Could
theories,
be.
but
That would actually
It's
be very
really
cool.
cool.
I think that's my favorite so far, PJ.
All right,
I will also.
Re-
Yeah. What?
go ahead, Matt. Go.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that I really think that this is one of those episodes that we need to see as a two-parter. That isn't
Yeah,
a
when
two-parter.
next week's because they're all like
Like-
two-part. They're two-part directed,
More like another
two-part
four-parter,
it's like-
I've heard, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
cool.
yeah, but I mean, everybody that I've talked to that has seen them, I've noticed, and again, I don't have details necessarily, but has seen them as one episode. Everybody I talked to is like, oh, that's the episode where X comes in, right? And it's like, well, no, this is this one. Oh, right. So that'll be next. Like, so I'm getting a lot of like details of. It seems like this is a two-part episode that's going to be continued next week, rather than. And to the point that everyone else has made tonight, I think this was a fantastic. Having Ro back on screen, I sobbed, I cried, it was everything to me. It was just that hug of DS9 and everything. But I will say that like this episode was not as strong as last week's. I mean, it was an incredible episode and there was incredible moments, but there wasn't that much that happened. Like, it was an episode that moved the plot forward. I think when we go back and watch it in retrospect and we get to like marathon the whole thing, we're going to tie this episode into next week. I am not, again, I'm not spoiling. I don't know, but I think that next week's episode is when we get to see that, like the Titan swooping in on Daystrom and the other ship doing the thing, because we finally connected with Worf, who can't get into Daystrom, and suddenly the Titan is on the run. So the next logical place to go, I feel like, would be Daystrom. So I think the two of them together are going to show a much bigger picture of these episodes. And I'm just so excited to see it come together. And that, as a self-proclaimed and 100% ship whore, like, that ship scene with the Intrepid gave me chills. Like, when she, like, comes back up and is just like, really, you want to fight? And we actually see, and so many times in Star Trek, we have like a very strong ship versus a very weak ship. It's like the, David and Goliath. But this was one of the ones that we were like, the Titan's not the flagship. The Intrepid, it's not the flagship. Like, these are two very evenly matched things. And it's like, no, Shaw, you should put the shields up and you should go. Like, this is not going to go well for you either. So I think the whole thing was incredible. And
Can I ask about when Ro kind of does her, her mission to take out part of I guess a nacelle on the Intrepid. I thought that was brave in a number of ways, but one of the things is a lot of the Titan's crew is now on board the Intrepid, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you go into say, I don't know, another part of the ship, you would kill a lot of people. So she was very strategic in how she tried to, disarm the ship without blowing it up or, I thought that was a good point to show how she really did care about people. And she was trying to do, even as she's facing her death, she's thinking about other people. And it's exactly, I see you, Rolaren. I see who you are. And we will RIP.
And that's the thing is she crippled it, but she didn't destroy. She knew what she was tactically. She was like, the Titan can outmaneuver it in impulse, and it can absolutely, as long as the Titan can go to warp and they have to have a head start, they'll be fine. And the whole thing, seeing the plasma leaking out, and we finally get to see good CGI of a Star Trek ship crippled. It was just. The
amount of money they're spending on the space battles is incredible. I am so impressed. And I hope that they release this 10-episode series in the movies so we can watch it and it be in awe of the special effects on such a tight budget. They don't have as big of a budget as even, from what I understand, it's tight. So
it's less than Discovery was by far. Yeah.
So how do they, all the credit to all the creatives,
they're spending an awful lot of money on salaries. So I think
I will also say I have publicly threatened Terry Metalis that if he does anything during Frontier Day to destroy my fleet of Sovereign class, I will absolutely hunt him down for sport. So just putting that out there now.
Look at this crazy scene.
I've heard rumors.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna
rumors that they're
cut
gonna
off
release
at
the
the
last
end.
2 episodes in IMAX, possibly in select theaters. I've heard people hint about that in multiple areas. I'm like, what? And they're like, well, we can't say anything.
All right, what city
I
are we
don't
all
know
meeting
about
in?
that.
I know.
Yeah, we should. We should definitely. It wouldn't surprise me. Paramount, I'm sure, is loving. Not to get into the business side of things, but Paramount has got to be loving the reception of this thing. And
if fans could see it a few days early, even a week, no, not a week, but half a week early, boom, there you go, make some money.
Can I just ask this question here for everybody? Where in the hell is Geordi LaForge? Come on, people.
He's going to show up in the
Nebula.
last 10 minutes of episode 9.
Oh, good
he's
God.
in the museum.
He
Which,
has
by
to
the
be
way-
in next week, I think, because I think he's on the Ready Room next week.
Well,
so.
and his daughter had mentioned it on Twitter that she was going to be in next one.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
good then.
Yeah, Matt.
Fine.
Okay, so he's
Well,
going?
the Fleet Museum, which has a Kirk era Constitution class ship,
Okay,
in it,
well, he's in the museum.
which I would love for them to. Could you imagine them walking onto the 1960s bridge like they did in Relics?
They're not
That
going
would
to.
just
But
be
did
so
anybody
cool.
They're
did
not
anybody
gonna do
see
that.
did anybody see
I
the
don't want
picture
if
that
they're
LeVar
if
tweeted?
they're gonna walk onto any bridge. I want it to be the D.
D.
Wait,
There
wait,
are-
what? Sorry.
Did you see the picture LeVar tweeted?
No.
It's a
Well, they
picture of him in his
confirmed that, yeah.
there's a picture of him in his Commodore's uniform, and you can tell he cropped like everyone else that's in the photo out of it, but the background is clearly the horseshoe and the alert
There
sign
was,
are
yeah,
on
the
there's
back
some
of the
production-
D.
spoiler images out there.
Was
too.
that today?
The production
No, it was-
image, no. They
Do you
remember-
they confirmed
Do you
that
re-
they have
Yeah.
recreated the D, like the
Yeah,
bridge.
there's
D.
definitely,
they worked
you
with
know-
that what is it, that TNG recreation, like that group that is actually recreating the original
Mhm.
bridge. They
In
worked with
Saratoga?
them to actually
Sarasota?
yeah. They
So,
worked with
yeah.
them to refilm it, yeah.
There was a
That, by the
picture of the
way-
construction of that set
But
that was somewhere
but-
weeks ago.
Yeah, I remember. I know what this.
that
yeah,
isn't.
yeah, you're
I
right.
can confirm that is not going to be anytime soon. So don't get anyone's hopes up.
No, but I mean, speaking of those sets, that we should all do a field trip out to, the recreation of the TV show sets. There's two. There's one in Georgia, I believe, and there's one in New York.
Ticonderoga. Yeah.
Ticonderoga.
Ticonderoga.
Where
Matt, I don't know
hope
what you know, Matt.
Ticonderoga pencils come from.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
I have a good idea of like what the last 2 episodes will be like and what
please
it will entail.
don't tell us if you have a good idea because I don't want to.
Oh no, I just
okay.
from I won't say anything, but what I've
Okay.
heard, it's like the ultimate fan service. That's all.
I have heard
It's
the
like-
last. I have confirmed. Like, I have also heard the last 3 episodes go like. If we think this is fan service,
balls to the wall type.
we
of
have
thing.
heard like
Pardon the
that
fr-
it goes to the nth degree, like deep.
And yet I'm still
Like
keeping
12
my
foot
cautiously
pool.
optimistic
So
view on this.
Yeah.
I'm still
Always.
gonna try to keep it a little bit.
I still,
But,
yeah.
Did anybody
I'm still
else
hoping
realize
for
it would be
Shatner.
this slow? Kind of like it would
Yeah.
take this long to get to episode 5. Where I thought it
I
would
think
move
this is a lot
faster. I
faster
don't
than
mind the
other
first 4
seasons.
episodes though. The episode 3 and 4 are great, but yeah.
No, well,
The difference is that
Where
I'm,
is Deanna?
I'm going nuts.
that's
every
another
week.
question. Where the hell is it?
she's drinking whiskey.
It's like Riker. I've been waiting for you to come home for like
Yeah.
3 days.
I know now they're on the run again.
What did
The
Picard
difference-
say?
Not
It'll
happy.
only be a few days. It'll be fine. Although we did get confirmation that it's been a few days, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So we kind of have a little bit of a timeline.
Oh, we saw the
now.
little dots repairing the Titan. Did you see the little dot? The little
Yeah.
dots.
Yeah.
that were, like,
Those
just
were
like-
worker bees.
Okay,
They were
fine,
subtle
whatever
about
they-
it. They didn't.
Yeah, but they didn't do a zoom in. On
It's
the
not like
dots.
Discovery
I
where they
think were
swoop
the-
in through them. Like yeah.
I did see in the chat that people are theorizing that maybe Rolaren somehow got out of the shuttle and isn't dead. So you know,
She's dead.
never
I'm
say
taking
never.
it. Yes.
Yeah.
Headcanon, she's still alive. She's
Honestly,
still
I
alive.
thought
She's
she
fine.
was dead after like once TNG was over and DS9 went full blown like Dominion
Well-
wiped out the
Yeah.
Maquis. I just assumed she was
Yeah.
gone and we'd never hear from
You-
her. So
I
if
did
she-
too. I did too.
If she
Never-
was, if
never
she was
underestimate
taken
Rolaren.
by the Intrepid crew, she's probably dead anyways. So I think I'd rather her death be like
She's in
On
a
her
cargo bay on the
terms.
Titan.
she
Right.
beamed
What's
into
that?
a nacelle tube.
It'll be on terms.
She'll be fine.
she'll,
She'll be
she
fine.
go nuts.
Wow.
I love it. I love it. I love it. What did you guys think of the Intrepid, by the way? In the original series, the Intrepid was an all Vulcan ship, which clearly it's not anymore. But what did you guys
No.
think of seeing this ship and this ship design, which, by the way, is another designed by Bill Krause? I love his whole theory on ship designing, so I'm a big fan. But I'm curious what you guys thought of this unique designed ship, which I believe the class that it's based on of his ships is the Hornet class or something like that, or the
It's the
no, the Wasp.
Tornado.
The Wasp. No, the Wasp. Is it the Tornado? I thought it was the
I thought
Wasp.
it was the Tornado. I don't.
Mm.
I talked to him
Yeah.
about it. I don't-
I think this is. I think I read
Might
that
be the
this is the
Tornado.
5th Starship Intrepid in the series in the saga. So yeah, the first
Which
one
is-
was the yeah.
Well-
Go ahead.
It's weird that they haven't given the Intrepid because I have to double check on this. Bill posted a bunch of these still photos of like the production shots of that CGI scene. I don't think she has an A, B, or C. I think it's just the USS Intrepid, and then they just slap a new registry on it
Right.
every single time.
Yeah,
Like,
they said
which
online that
seems
very
weird
few
to
ships
me.
get an A, a B, or whatever. There has to be some kind of like
But they still recycle
like the
the
Voyager
name?
gets. What's that?
But like that's my thing is like I understand like you retire the registry, you retire the name. To me, like if you're gonna keep the ship name, why wouldn't you keep the ship registry? And then it becomes like just like the Enterprise. But it
Only
doesn't
if
seem like
it's-
they're doing that.
Only if the ship and it's only if the first to have that registry is as significant as the ship name. So like everyone associates the Enterprise with 1701. Everyone associated Voyager with 74656. So as there's a Voyager A, a Voyager B, all the way up to Discovery with a Voyager J. The first mission,
Well,
the first
also
ship to bear
we're
the
calling
registry
it-
was significant.
yeah.
So
We're calling it the Enterprise A,
makes
but it's the NCC 1701-A. So it's actually
Well, yeah.
it's actually the dash A.
It's
belongs
still
to
just the
registry.
Enterprise, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but I
that's true.
think Trav, you're right. If the ship name and registry has some sort of historical significance,
Mhm.
then they carry the registry forward.
so there have
regardless of the
literally been
cost.
5 Intrepids and none of them were that interesting.
Right.
Yeah, that's what
Yes,
I'm getting.
no.
Well, how many times has the Farragut died? Like they just keep slapping a new Farragut out there.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. I don't
I
know why.
Yeah, I cannot tell you guys how much I don't care about ship porn.
Well, guess what? That's your loss.
Hold up.
You gotta admit though, the ships look better in this
I
season
wasn't
than the
finished.
previous.
I wasn't finished. I am not a ship whore. I will just say that.
Yep.
Except that
They
he
are
has
beautiful, though. I
little
Whatever
model
enjoys your
ships.
life,
I
folks.
mean, I was
Except that
l-
Marcelo has model ships there.
With that being said, that's a bunch of bullshit because, like he just said, I love the NX-01 and the Orville, which are back there. So that's a bunch of bullshit. I take that back.
Okay, see,
Well,
there you
I
go.
can't tell
I
you
was
how
very
many.
specific with my parents growing up when they asked me what I wanted for Christmas because I was a TOS fan, and I said the Enterprise, no bloody A, B, C, or D.
Oh my God,
basically.
really?
I did not say that exact quote because I wasn't watching TNG at the time, but I basically said it's got to be Kirk's Enterprise, like it's got to be.
Matt,
And I
yeah.
ended up with the little shuttlecraft that had Spock's voice on it for the Christmas tree
This guy
ornament.
back here.
Oh, that's cool.
Great.
The second ornament in the run.
Yeah,
Mhm.
sorry, that was a tangent, but I don't like have strong feelings about the ships, but I love good Star Trek ships. Like I think that they
This.
maneuver well. That's
That's
exciting to watch. They're
Yeah,
beautiful to look
that's
at,
cool.
and I don't want to look at them like for a super long time. I care more about the characters, but I appreciate those who want like those, like love what you love. If you love looking at the drafts and you love looking at where everything is, like I didn't
like
know
the
there was a
fat
cetacean.
ones.
That one, I like
one?
that
Well,
one.
but like
The
what
citation
you
ops.
No,
I
know
didn't
nothing.
know
I know the
that there were
basics,
like
that's it.
freaking whales and dolphins on the Enterprise D, and then
Yes.
until somebody
Citation-
points it
yeah.
out. So I
Citation
love,
ops, yeah.
I love.
By the way,
Citation
I've been
ops.
excited. I've been waiting. A lot of people have been waiting for things for years and years. I was waiting for Citation Ops for like 30 years, and it happened on Lower Decks. I was so happy about that.
Two of
So,
my
Lower Decks.
My favorite part of the Enterprise D
namesake.
deck plans is that Citation Ops, there's actually a little drawing where there's a little corridor, like obviously that would be filled with water, to escape pods. So
I'm telling you
in
right
the
now,
event
Bev
of an
was, like,
evacuation,
having
they
a drink
can
with
all
them
swim into
after
their little
attached.
pod. And all
That's
stay
my
up.
headcanon.
she
Like the
totally
crew
was.
would just go and visit like the Aqua Life and Citation Ops. Like, hey,
Where,
let's have a drink and just pour out our hearts to the whales and the dolphins. Yeah.
where in
Yeah,
the world?
essentially,
Where
it's-
in the world are? This is a dumb question, but where in the
This is
world?
Carmen San Diego.
Yeah. Yes. No. Where in the world are the restrooms on the Enterprise D?
They're marked, apparently.
They're marked.
There's
like
They're
There's
off the
one.
bridge.
They're just one, or
There's
one in
only
every
one
cabin,
on the master.
Marcelo.
Oh,
there
Riker
is
kind of
only one on the
established
Master
that in
Systems
episode
display.
1.
okay.
Oh, really?
There is only one, and they pointed out in one of the behind the scenes, like in the 80s, that there's only one restroom on the Master Systems display, and it's like
Is it really?
in the middle of the ship or something. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
You can just in the future you can just go in your uniform. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Why was
recycles
Riker
it back
getting
into
up all
water.
the time in
Yeah.
episode 1?
No,
I
because
don't know.
no,
Right,
because,
that's right.
Yeah, because am I losing my mind, or did Michael Okudo one time post a picture of showing where the restrooms were on the bridge? Like he actually pointed
yeah.
them
I
out.
They
remember
did
that.
that,
Yeah.
There's
Aaron,
actually a
I
door-
didn't mean to offend you, Aaron, by
No, but
my
actually,
comment that the
I don't
ship
think it
is
was-
not a character.
I don't think it was
My apology.
I don't think he's offended, but he's pointing out something that I was gonna say before we went on this weird bathroom tangent. But anyways, which is the reason you
That's
wanted
the
that
weirdest
ship-
tangent we've been on today.
It's true.
That's true.
The reason you
Weirdo.
wanted that ship, Michelle, is because sometimes Star Trek does make the ships a character, and so that's true. So yeah, in the
100%.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that's what I
well,
was saying.
I love
So I
the
don't know if you
Enterprise,
guys-
the original Enterprise. That was
Yeah.
my
Oh,
childhood.
I don't know
Also-
if you guys listen to Inglorious Treksperts, which is a great Star Trek podcast. They did their countdown of the top 101 characters in all of Star Trek for Picard season 3, and the number 1 character in Star Trek is the Starship Enterprise,
Yeah, the E.
not the E.
I was.
But how
I was-
badly
was-
they treat their ships. They're like,
It was
oh,
the
we
E,
lost your
yeah.
saucer section. And, whoops.
No,
No
but,
bloody
you know-
A, B, C, D, or E. Matt.
Mhm.
sorry.
So
It was E.
so so
No, I know.
Gonna have
Actually,
to
I was.
fight.
did
I was just about to say that I actually love the Enterprise E as well.
What?
So-
she's a
Thank you.
she's my
no, I
second
do.
favorite.
I do.
You do have good taste then.
I
It's
do,
fine.
I
She's
do,
my
because-
second favorite
'cause
ship,
I like
the
the-
Enterprise.
because-
D.
Jesse, I
Because-
saw that handshake.
Yeah,
You do.
Yeah. No, because I like the bridge setup with all the chairs and the colors and the way that the bridge is.
I
love
like the
that damn bridge.
D. I'm
And so do I
nostalgic.
normally, but I really do appreciate the E a little bit
Or-
more.
As long as you don't get into a debate about carpet.
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
I'm
but,
banning.
all right,
Do
but
it.
so
I'm
just
banning
as an
that
aside,
conversation.
all of these
Sure.
No,
A, B,
I don't wanna
C,
hear
D,
I'll
the
tap
carpet.
out. Yeah.
No,
They're
no
all
carpet.
based
All
on-
I have to say
Wait,
is
sorry.
that I am the only person that has fought against Dave Blass about the carpet and has not been blocked.
I know because he likes you.
Wow.
Aw, that's nice.
It's the
Everyone
smile.
else
It's
is
gotta be the
snarky
smile.
about it.
So,
What were you gonna say, Ken?
I was gonna say that all of the like Montgomery Scott says, all the bloody A, B, C, D, E, or F are based on 1701, the
Yeah, of
original
course.
model,
Mhm.
and that makes that by far the best starship.
Mm.
By the way, the best starship in pop culture design history. By the way,
Yeah.
just saying.
Well,
Yes,
it's
I
OG.
agree.
Like you can't,
sure.
you know, this
Yeah.
is the original. This is where everything comes from, right?
Right.
But the thing is, now you have Strange New Worlds, which has a pretty
Yeah,
darn
yeah,
nice.
yeah. It does, but still.
Oh, wait. I got
It's
no.
still,
I got one
yeah, it's
more.
not that original
no.
design that you had the model for, Ken. That like in every angle, it's perfect. It's just yeah. It's funny how they think that's so retro that like that's somehow like not cool enough, but whatever.
Kirk Acevedo, I just want to talk real quick about him because I'm a huge 12 Monkeys fan. And also, by the way, Todd Stashwick was humming
Who's
his
that?
signature. Kirk Acevedo played Kryn, the Vulcan
Oh yes,
mobster, yeah. So, first of all, he was great. And the fact that he and Aaron Stanford are both in 12 Monkeys as the leads. And then
And they were
also
brothers in that?
They were brothers in that. Well, they're like brothers through circumstance, like through having adventures and stuff like that. They're not like actual.
Just like they are in Picard.
Exactly. Except these are the dark kind of weird versions of them. Oh wow, I got a. Let's see here.
And were you just saying, Sohail, that Shaw was
I just-
humming the 12 Monkeys theme? No.
No, he was
Was he?
humming. Don't you forget about me from what's the movie?
Breakfast Club.
Breakfast
Yeah,
Club.
The Breakfast
Yeah.
Club, which his
Oh.
character on 12 Monkeys is always singing, so or humming or whatever. So that was a really cool nod in this episode.
Yep.
There's like a ton of 12 Monkeys things, the Splinter stuff like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I am waiting. They've already got Kirk Acevedo, they've already got Aaron Stanford. I'm hoping they get Emily why can't I
They-
remember? Oh my god.
Emily, what's her face? I can't
I want to say Hampshire.
Oh.
It's Hampshire. It is
Yes,
Hampshire. Sorry,
yeah.
Emily Hampshire. I'm so sorry. I love you. But anyways, I'm waiting for
they-
Emily Hampshire. But more than
They need to get
anything,
her.
I'm hoping to get Barbara Sukoa, who plays Jones, on the show. So I have a feel.
Awesome.
I know. Oh my god. So if she comes, that's when I'll go nuts. Is when she gets on the show.
Clearly, I
Um,
need to watch 12 Monkeys.
It's a
Yeah.
really good
It's
show.
Yeah,
really
I feel
good.
like I binge watched DS9 to prepare myself for Picard. I didn't know I had to watch
Yeah,
12
you should
Monkeys
have that.
too. I guess I have to like maybe in between weeks if I'm really feeling like I need to have a distraction to wait for Picard. You
If-
know?
It's really
mean,
fun.
I find myself watching these episodes like 6 or 7 times after they air. But
Mhm.
yeah, if you need something to keep you like 12 Monkeys is a great show to watch. And I'm going to be doing after Picard with our friend Trek on the Tube. We're going to be doing a 12 Monkeys like deep dive retrospective podcast. So if any of y'all want to come and hang out with us for one of those, that would be awesome too. Yes, Marcella, I know you're
Well,
I
we're
shall.
just going to have to watch it.
But what? How does my voice sound today? It sounds really weird to me. In the
Well,
Sounds
earlier it
basic.
sounded like Sohail After Dark. Hey,
Basic.
it is.
Yeah.
After, this is Crusher
Basic.
Convo
Yeah.
After Dark, so it's
It
fine.
is.
yeah.
The other thing, so we've talked a lot about like Ro for lots of reasons, but what did you guys think? What do you guys think of like? Basically, I know you guys already mentioned that you're a little tired of like being in District 6 and stuff like that. But what do you guys think of just overall, like, his character, a Vulcan mobster? Like, is it logical? Like, what's the deal with this character? What were your impressions of this character? I'm curious.
I think it's really interesting to show a Vulcan that went down that path and to show a Vulcan that is like so beyond what we consider Vulcan to be. I think it's really fun to play with established characters like that. So it was a for me it was a fun little aside and a fun little twist on a really famous species within Star Trek.
Although I think him wearing the gigantic idic thing was a little bit too.
I
You
loved.
know.
I, lo-
little
I
much.
It was a
loved-
little too bling. They were
Yeah.
going for like.
I
that,
wish it
like-
had a clock
yeah.
in it. That would have been the best.
Well, it kind of felt like he was saying to everybody that's like, oh, why is Star Trek so dark? And I'm not talking about the lighting. I'm talking about the mood and the, the topics. And it's like, well, to have a utopia, you need an underbelly. Like, I guess. I don't know if I agree with that, but it was a point. I mean, I'm still kind of mulling over some of the things in this episode. Like, I
will
wonder,
To that point, and there was something I wanted to mention earlier too, is that, and this is one of those things that's very divisive, and I've found myself struggling with too, is like, this is showing the other side and the more realistic Starfleet and Star Trek. It's that side that Gene always wanted to gloss over and say, no, it's like, this is not how it is. But then you kind of peel back those layers over the years and you're like, well, that's not how it was on the flagship of the Federation. That wasn't how it is with the person who is supposed to embody everything good about Starfleet. But what about the thousands of other ships out there? Like, there are still humans and Vulcans and Andorians and all these other people who could be flawed and could be maybe not quite as buttoned up and perfect and self-assured and I have fought all my demons already type of people, even though we're finding out that Picard has not fought all of his demons, obviously. And so it's interesting to me. I was very against it originally. I think that was one of the things, like even through Discovery and stuff, like seeing that other side never really landed until now. And the way they're approaching it, especially with Seven, like it's the perfect example. If you go back, I was just watching Voyager. And it's like, if you think, like, it's not just the character that's the same, but like Jerry Ryan played both of these characters and they are, pardon the pun, light years apart. And it's just the progress of all of that. So I think seeing this like Vulcan logic that has kind of crept in other ways and seeing that like, this is my logic. To me, this is logical that you have to have a balance. So I loved it. I did. I did love Crim.
Gene Roddenberry was still very, very much involved in season 1 of Next Gen. And season 1 of Next Gen gave us a character that came from a colony of humans where she spent her first 15 years of life running from rape gangs.
Mm-hmm.
So clearly, to say humanity has evolved does not mean all humans have evolved. So likewise, every other planet of the Federation, there are going to be Vulcans that have not agreed to that philosophy. There are going to be Ferengi who aren't just unscrupulous when it comes to money, but some become mobsters. Like there's always going to be this nastiness there. It just might not necessarily be set up on Earth. So we put it on Mtalis Prime and we have this, underbelly, seedy underbelly happening there. It's never bothered me when it's been depicted. What bothered me was that we never got, we did see Turkana 4 eventually. And when we did, it just looked like another bad TNG set. I love TNG. It's my second favorite Star Trek, but just saying, it just looked like another bad set from 1990. So we're seeing the darkness, and I actually really enjoy it. What I have never really cared for, though, is like getting to know criminals has like never been my jam in any genre, whether it's Star Trek or, I don't watch Law and Order because I want to get to know the criminal. I just want to see like, the bad guy get in trouble. Like that's the sole purpose of watching shows like that. So getting to know the criminal is not super interesting. That being said, the ones that we've gotten have been fantastic actors. So
and I don't think we're spending too much time with the criminals.
No,
I think just
not at all.
enough where
Yeah.
they're getting the upper hand and kind of moving the plot along, which I think is as it should be. So,
But so the seedy underside of Star Trek was there at the very, very beginning. The very beginning. So if you think about the cage and you think about the scene where Pike is sitting there with a bunch of folks ogling over the Orion slave girl dancing, and then the Orion slave girl follows Pike into the cave with that look I mean, that's in the very, 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 very beginning of Star Trek. So, there's always been sort of this seedy underside. But right, not on the
A
flagship of the
suggestion of
Federation.
it,
Yeah.
I love when Rafi tells him that he'll never own her, and then he's like, "Would you like to wager on that?" And she's like, "Hell yeah, Worf is not really dead. We tricked you." Like, all that stuff is so good. I also like the whole thing of like how they became the alphas and like just Worf training Rafi. I know that like definitely that was not like. I think that part of this episode got a little overshadowed by the other part of the episode because it was just so much like 30 years later we've been down to see Ro, like this kind of thing, and like so I think like upon replays I'll probably pay even more attention, but it did stand out to me that it was. I like the thing with Worf and Rafi a lot. I love their pairing. I think it's gonna be a really awesome payoff. You were gonna say, Matt?
The fight scenes are choreographed really well.
And then Matt. Yeah, they are.
All I
I
was going
love
to say
them
is that
fighting too. Yeah.
that was another thing, and just a small like aside. As much as I loved obviously Ro, I wanted to mention Todd Stashwick in this. His whole arc of this like giddy joy that he's finally going to get them off his ship. And it's like, ha, 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 I'm done with you. I wasn't supposed to be here anyway. I'm finally going to be able to take a nap.
I called
And,
Starfleet already. Yeah.
Right. Like, ha, ha, ha. And then the
I
turbo
did
scene
love
that's
in
like,
that scene when he asks Seven if she wants to be stated or not, and she's like, that whole thing. That was so funny.
But
Yeah.
Todd
His
tweeted
whole-
that he was just goofing around that day. It was like an improv, I think.
That's
awesome.
perfect. And like the
Yeah.
thing is, like all of this, and then to watch his character, and I tweeted about it earlier. Towards the end of it, when he's standing on the bridge and everything is like falling apart, and you could just watch he's such a good actor because you can watch his face go like, no, I'm not doing this. No, don't you
Security.
And when
Security.
Riker stops, we're like, no, you are not taking my ship again. No. And you can just like see him like just deflate. Just this like, and he doesn't even fight it this time. He's just like, all right, well, fuck it. Like, okay, I guess we're gonna go ahead. I guess we're fugitives. I'm with Picard
And,
and
you
Riker
can't expect
now.
him to turn around overnight in terms of like, I know he's been snarky. This is who he is. And yes, he had an epiphany last episode, but I think that you've got to give him a chance to like, he's not going to come around like immediately and not be like,
Oh my God.
he didn't call Seven Hansen. He just
True.
said Commander, right?
Mhm.
Little bit of progress, I guess. But I think that overall, like, I love how Todd has Stashwick. I say his name wrong. How he's played
Stashwick, like a wick.
Stashwick.
A stash of wicks. Oh, I wonder if
Stash
that's
your
right.
wick.
Stash.
I love how he's
Oh my
played
God.
Shaw because he gives it a depth and like an understanding, and I get it. Like Riker and Picard have wrecked his ship, wrecked his crew. His crew is on the other ship now that has changelings on it, and they're running. Like, this is insane for him, who's just supposed to be going on an exploratory mission, nice and easy.
And somebody pointed out, like, his ship was supposed to be equipped and outfitted to just do a ceremony for, like, this was just supposed to be, like, a quick run around the block.
Yeah.
Like, he was not
We know how
supposed
that
Blowing
turns out.
things up. Yeah.
Yeah.
which is a nice
Mhm.
homage. I think they probably did it on purpose. But, like,
Mhm.
people were like, well, why wasn't there a quantum torpedo launcher? And why wasn't there transphasic torpedo? Because he wasn't supposed to be this far out. He
Yeah,
was
it's like when they're
supposed
trying to
be in
relaunch
dry
the
dock.
Enterprise in Generations.
Yep.
You know?
Let's point out why that was the only ship in the sector when they were at Earth, but that's a whole separate. But like literally, the Titan was in space dock. Riker and Picard took it out of space dock. It was supposed to be sticking around Earth until Federation Day, or whatever that.
Frontier Day.
Frontier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it was. He wasn't supposed to. It's lucky they had a full crew, honestly, and a
That
medical
doesn't-
staff.
Yeah,
I just want to see a scene at
That
the
doesn't
very
matter
last
until
episode.
Tuesday.
I want to see a scene in the last episode where they get back and someone hands Stashwick his dog, and it's just like a pissed off dog sitter that's been waiting for weeks
Yeah.
and weeks. It was only supposed to watch his dog for like a day, and it's just like,
Where's
No, you know what
Picard's
I want?
dog? They're watching Picard's dog too, I guess, right? Like, what happened to him? But
What I
I
want to
did.
see.
I wanted to give a little shout out to Sohail because I thought about he loves seasons 1 and 2 of Picard. So I immediately thought when Worf got stabbed that the hologram of Rios would appear, the Doctor, to fix Worf. So there you go.
That would have been amazing. That happened off
Maybe he
camera.
did.
It happened off.
Yeah,
That's
it
what I'm
totally
saying. It happened
happened
off
off camera,
screen.
yeah.
Totally.
I love it. That's totally my head.
And I love
Thank you.
Raffi's sass. Like, can you not put holes in my floor? Like,
Yeah, that
can
was
you
good.
not do that? I love their rapport. I like the comedy that they bring to it. They have a great
Yeah, it's
chemistry,
true.
I think, which I'm enjoying. And they
let me
definitely
take a
rehearse
moment
the
and just-
fight scene. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me just take a moment and shout out to Todd Stashwick because he's done some videos for my company, the Talk About It company,
Yeah.
which you can see on I just tweeted one today and he liked it. And I just saw Tex Trex comment about how hilarious he was on the cruise.
Yeah.
He seems like a really great guy. He's very close friends with my partner in my company, Greg Grunberg, the actor who knows J.J. Abrams. Marcelo knows that. So we asked him, and within not even a day, he's like, "I'll do it. I can't wait to do it."
Awesome.
And the video that I retweeted on my account today, he did. He's a huge Star Trek fan. He's a lifelong Star Trek fan, and we did a little bit of Star Trek Easter eggs in that video. So if you haven't seen it, take a look. He's a great guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he's really cool. I I was like this close to him at the premiere, and I just like was such a goofball with everyone. I cannot. I was like, oh, Mr. Stashwick, I love you.
I'm sure you don't remember half of that going on at the premiere, right?
You're like
It
the
was-
teenager from The
video.
Simpsons.
You could hear me in someone's video saying to Gates McFadden, Miss McFadden, do you remember like you did a cameo
my
for me? And she's
God.
like, no, I don't remember.
No. Why?
She did though. She mentioned
did.
it.
She didn't, but she says in the thing,
Yeah.
I don't remember who they were, but I remember the podcast.
eating
and then
a
I tweeted at her,
sandwich.
and now like she was
Yeah.
like, yeah, eating a sandwich. I was like so happy. But anyways,
She mentioned that in the pod in that not her
Yeah,
podcast,
yeah.
but in another podcast
Yeah.
recently. And I was
It
like,
was very
when you
cool.
tweeted that, I'm like, it was Starfleet Boy. Ah. It's all coming together.
Yep.
One last thing that I have from that scene is that Kryn mentions that the way that there's a device that will get you past the AI, and so now Worf and Raffi. Wow. Oh, train.
That was a
Worf
train?
and Raffi.
Train.
Yeah.
It's a train.
Worf and Raffi now have that device because Raffi's like, and you're gonna give it to us, and he's like, that would be logical. So maybe the device is Moriarty. Like, I don't know why I keep doing.
Oh,
this.
do you think Moriarty's
Maybe.
in that ship? Like
I think
he's
that's what it is.
hanging
Yeah,
out.
possible.
Like it
Yeah.
might be. Who knows? We'll see.
Plus, it
We're
could be a
gonna find out
copy.
next week.
It could be because he was a computer program. It could be a copy of the one that. Anyway,
Like
we'll
a
find out.
computer program that people distribute that is a copy of Moriarty just because he's so smart he can hack into anything type of thing. Is that could be
Maybe it could be PJ. That would be kind of cool.
I don't know.
Ah, that would be.
I
Kinda
mean,
cool.
if you had the ability to have your version of Moriarty on the holodeck, yeah, we won't go there.
We can
Anyway,
we can
so-
count on the member berries and the nostalgia. Everything's going to connect to a TNG episode eventually.
Yeah.
I don't mind as long as it's fun.
Are we all going to run and watch all the Ro Laren episodes now on TNT?
Yes, we
I
are.
already did like weeks. I already did
Marathon?
weeks ago and didn't even know Roland Aaron was going to be in the season. I watched.
Nice.
Yeah.
I watched the Moriarty episodes, the lore episodes, and then the Worf and Ro episodes. Having no idea, I just like Ro but yeah.
I really when Picard said, "You remember Guinan," I really wanted
dear
her to
God.
say, "Oh yeah, we were little kids together."
We were a little
Yeah.
kid.
We were jumping on
I
the
like
bed.
that.
Next
Yeah.
week.
Yeah,
It would have been actually, or just like a we grew up together would be cute.
yeah.
Like just like a neat little,
Mhm.
yeah.
I love that scene when Ro's first episode when Guinan goes to her in the bar and she's like, I'd like to be alone. She's like, well, you wouldn't be in a place like this if you wanted to be alone. And she just pesters her into like being her friend. That's really good.
Well, I think it's interesting that when they were on the holodeck, like Picard slyly turns off, right, the safety,
Safety.
and
Like it's that easy.
Apparently it just takes
Thank
a
you.
button.
Someone
Yeah.
like that bothered me
Yeah.
so badly. Like, oh, all of
I
a
was
sudden you
okay.
don't need two senior officers
Yeah.
with their access codes to turn. You just have to bump a button, and you can suddenly kill someone.
well,
on
I
the
guess
holodeck?
first contact, they were like, we should be able to kill them
Oh,
more
yeah, that's
easily.
right.
So
Especially
we'll just
given
have a
that
button now.
the program
I think
comes
you just
with
triggered Matt.
Especially since the program comes with the sidearm of the bartender. Like it's not like it's just a bar. Like it's an armed bar.
Oh my gosh, you guys, we are now Hollywood Squares, and I get to be the center. I'm Jim J. Bullock.
Oh,
I'm Jim J. Bullock. This is my
the
dream.
center
Like I've always
square.
wanted to be
Chris,
Totally
what's
the
up?
center square.
Hello, Chris.
Welcome
What's up,
to
all?
the show, Chris. Hey.
I had to get dressed up for the show, hanging out on the Titan A.
You look
Nice.
great. Oh my gosh, that's like really good tight name. Like appearance. That's a great. Actually, I'm pretty used.
I
you
have
get to
no
be center.
kids and no wife, so it's a uniform night. There it is.
Nice.
Oh, there we
Yeah.
go.
There you go.
I gotta hit you up to
Yeah.
find out where you got that one. I think it's the same one I got from our friend Aaron, so I'm not sure, but
It's a little tight.
Oh, it
Is
is.
that a
Yeah, it's the
Koser
same
mark?
one. It's the same.
Coster Mark, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same one.
I just ordered the new one.
Chris, real quick, what'd you think of this episode overall? And like, also, welcome to my show. This is your first time here. I'm so happy.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for the message. I looked in a little bit, but yeah, the episode was fantastic. The Roe Picard scene in the holodeck did it for me. So cathartic. All these years, we needed that moment, and we got it. Everything we wanted. But to be honest, I'm a little not wanting the who's a changeling kind of plot. I think probably that's been said before, but I'm trusting the process and that it's going to be earned by the end of the season and have something new to say about that topic and make it relevant to society today.
I love that. I'm enjoying it, but it is driving me nuts because now I'm like, everyone's a changeling. Like, I don't trust almost anyone. I trust a couple of people, but that's it. Ken, you're on mute. I think you were trying to say something.
I was just saying, wouldn't that be a kick in the head that if everyone's a changeling, there's no actual original characters?
But none of them can identify each other, so none of them realize they're
Right.
changelings. They're all just running around.
Changeling.
It's
I mean,
right
what
next
do
to
we do
each
here?
other.
And
All
we've
their
fallen
memories
down
are
the
wrong.
rabbit hole. Yes. They
So-
wouldn't do that to us, right?
So, Chris,
guys?
I've got you on at the very end of our program, which I hope you don't mind, but we'll have you on again if you'll join us, and especially with your cool background. That's amazing. I need to do mine now.
Can I
Matt,
do a quick
we need to
plug real
we all have
fast?
to have like a yeah, it's like really
so
cool.
so I was gonna say that right after we're done with our react and reviews with Picard on Crusher Convo, our actual episode that's gonna be next is gonna be with Chris, and we're gonna be doing
Oh,
quality of life.
yay.
Yeah, so that's gonna drop, I believe, on the first Saturday of May. But it's super. I just finished editing, and I was like, I can't wait for you guys to hear.
I'm sure that took a long time to edit.
Wow.
Just
You're
because
great,
you
Chris.
you
There was a
dropped
lot
out.
of subspace distortions during our
You just
Yeah,
dropped out
we were
5
just
times.
getting a
No big
lot of-
deal. It's
Yeah,
fine.
you were great. So
You were fine.
yeah.
The
There
connection
That
was,
was a good
not,
time. It was
But
a good time.
yeah, but no, it sounds awesome. You guys are gonna like it. So
I love the audience is speculating that they're all changelings in the audience. Cake is Eternal's a changeling. Geek Filter's a changeling.
Do you think they're going to
Stressor-
bring in Mirror Universe, or they're just not going there?
Oh my
I
god.
I
don't
almost
think
thought
so.
maybe it's
Jack's
Mirror.
his eyes. He can't handle the light. That's why the ship's
No,
so
but-
dark. They're all mirror universe.
Oh man.
No, I'm just
We brought up paw wraiths earlier, Chris. I don't know if you,
yeah, I
you
heard
that
that.
part yet.
I
That
like that.
retro-conning of the mirror universe where they can't look at the light. I mean, that, but
Yeah. I'm not crazy about it. Yeah.
no. The paw wraiths.
so-
The paw wraiths is an interesting theory, but I mean, they're not really talking about the wormhole aliens in any way, shape, or form. I realize there's a tie to the founders, but maybe the paw wraiths. I just think the paw wraiths is a bit of a stretch.
I can't remember
Um,
what happened to the paw wraiths. Like I watched DS9 recently, but like I just didn't. I
They-
didn't appreciate that
were
storyline
sealed in
as
the
much as I
fire
probably should have.
caves, right?
I was like,
No,
They're in the-
so we don't know what happened.
It was
to them.
connected
They
with
went-
Jadzia's death, which I hated and blocked. So
Well, there was, but they
Yeah.
went into the ether, or at least their main warrior, after it left Jake, went
Mm-hmm.
into the galaxy, and
But
we don't
didn't
know
it
what
take
happened.
over. The Cardassian
Ducat.
Ducat. Yeah.
That was a different. That was a
Mhm.
different one, I thought, because that was the one that was like.
It wasn't it
trying to,
Ducat and Jake fighting each other?
The one
No, it
in
was
the
Kira and Jake.
and
Oh, Kira.
there were the one
I
that went
said
into
that.
Jake did not go into fire caves.
I totally
There
said
were
that
some in the
before
fire
Geek
caves.
Filtered.
Yeah.
Right. The one that went into Jake,
Yeah.
just we see it leave the station and it just like goes. So we don't know whatever happened to that.
But the other ones were sealed in the fire caves when Cisco burned that book, right?
Right.
And fell in there with the
Right.
cop.
Many were, yeah. We just know that they were cast out from the temple.
Thank you for the
Nobody really
recap.
know.
I was a little
Right,
confused
so
about
the-
how they ended up.
That was just it's so annoying to me that you can end Deep Space Nine by just throwing a book over a cliff. All right, we're done. Like, okay,
Book burning.
never mind. Yeah,
Oh my god. Well,
Those have seen a
guys,
resurrection lately too.
yeah. Jeez.
The eyes,
Well,
Jack's
Text
eyes though
check-
did bother
text
me.
check,
It-
knows the deal.
let's see.
If it is like,
Right.
here's my thing with Jack's eyes.
I thought he
too,
was
is,
going to
like,
turn into the Hulk.
If it, yeah, and
Don't
if
make
it's
me
not
angry.
The rays, like I get, like the Borg would make more sense because Picard, Borg, like that just it goes hand in hand, and they've already laid the foundation with Shaw. But like, so what's the red, and why does it look organic? Like whenever his visions and everything looks organic, and everything looks like it not very Borg.
And if you
He's
look on the
using
Elios, if you look
like,
on the
yeah.
Elios, he was making like these tree type
Trees.
things,
Mhm.
right? Like,
Mhm.
and he's
Yeah.
always got something in it. Like somebody had tweeted about the straw that he was messing around with last week. That it was like the portal, not the portal
Uh-huh.
thing, the weapon that I
The
think we see in the
graphic.
end credits, right? That I
Uh-huh.
think is going to be the big thing they want to steal, maybe. But I don't know. Jack just seems really troubled, and it's bothering me because we don't really know his character, so we're trying to figure out what
Well,
could it be
remember,
that
I even had mentioned in the very first episode that I had gotten Cisco Prophet vibes at those voices that he's hearing, because in the last one it was like a Beverly voice, a Riker voice, it was a Vadic like we heard different voices in his head, and then of course this one was specifically Beverly. So whether he has the Borg in him, whether we could say Beverly special or not, or whatever, if the changelings and the founders are trying to start this war again, especially with the Federation, maybe it's the prophets that need Jack, and they're the ones that are calling him. Or
they're saying here
the
that Jesse
Power Refs
Gender's
are-
got a
Yeah, and I mean, I saw with Geekfield, I was like, that's what I said too, because it just gave me that same vibe that Cisco had to go through. So they need that hero. Cisco was their hero for the first Dominion War, right? They need that other hero. Whatever Jack is, whatever he has, he's needed for this with these new evolved changelings that Beverly had mentioned.
Or there are changelings that have either been assimilated or the other way around. And if Jack has nanoprobes and can somehow hear the collective, and the collective now has changeling minds in it,
Which
is
is
it
also
possible
collective. Yeah.
he's hearing
Yeah.
those thoughts and those
Yeah, that was another
and
thing where they're
Picard
saying-
isn't, because Picard doesn't have nanoprobes anymore because
Exactly.
now he's synthetic.
Yeah, that was
Positron.
another theory too. Mhm.
I really do think that we're gonna have it. I don't know how they're gonna do it. I think that we're going to see an assimilated changeling, maybe with something about why they like suddenly they can have organs, and so suddenly they can be like maybe something. I don't know what, but I feel like we're going to see like some crossover between the two. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I don't know how. I feel like there's going to be a crossover.
I just feel like they've gone to the Borg way too much. That's my now. The other thing
True,
that I
too.
was thinking, is those things grow like crystals, almost like some sort of crystalline entity.
The crystalline entity. Ooh.
Or they're
And that's
organic,
why,
like
and that's why they
the
need lore.
Species
Well-
8472 ships.
Mhm.
The 8472 I thought about too
Mhm.
because it's very organic. And Harry
The
Kim, when
tendrils.
he had the
Looked a little tendrily, yeah.
Yep.
Like that horrible tendril thing that was difficult to look at coming out of his nose.
snot
Yeah.
And they were
mucus thing.
shapeshifters.
They were.
They could be.
That's true. What
And
if
that was
these
kind of
changelings-
unresolved.
What if these changelings? Well, I guess we know that they are changelings now. I was going to say, what if it's actually 8472? But
Well, they would have
I
had organs
hope
though
it's not.
too. So, I don't know. It's all fun.
Well,
to talk about.
8472. What is the end result of 8472? I know that they
They
They're
had a
just hanging
temporary
out in
peace
fluidic
treaty,
space.
and they
Yeah.
went back to fluidic space.
But But they got
They
to keep their
realized-
weird simulation just floating around in the Delta Quadrant of Starfleet Academy, which seemed like an odd
Maybe
way to end the negotiation.
maybe that went back into fluidic space too. Maybe they were just like,
Okay, sure.
Guys, I
Good
hate
sound
to
effect.
end the fun because this is really fun, but Ro Laren just gave us a few minutes to escape the Intrepid, so we have to take advantage of that time and get the heck out of here. Otherwise,
That
she
is
would
the
have died
worst
for
exit
nothing.
segue you've ever done.
Yeah, seriously.
I liked it. I liked it.
Yeah.
Aww.
no. What
I
it is-
enjoyed it. I at least understood
But-
it.
But before
the
we go,
Intrepid
I
is
just want to
looking very
get.
mean.
But yeah, but before that ship, man, I just saw the scene here. I have it playing on the side because I couldn't resist. I had to watch it while you guys.
Well, you know what they
like, have it
say:
in the background.
resistance is futile.
It's futile. So before we sign off, if everyone would just kind of like give their final thoughts, and we have a tradition of giving a rating on Starfleet Sohail / Starfleet Boy, where it can be from 1 through 10. It could just be a nonsensical rating, or you don't have to give a rating at all, because like our friend Fathery on Text Trek says, how can you distill something in just like a 1 to 10 score? But we've been doing it as a tradition, so let's have a little bit of fun with it. I'll go first, and I'll just give my final thoughts, saying that like, wow, like I'm sorry I ended I'm sorry my segue was to talk about that scene, but at the same time, like talking about Ro a little bit, I'm just realizing how heavy it is that like she's kind of been like, she was Worf's handler. She's been investigating all this time. She says, now it's up to you now, Picard. Like she's basically like, she handed him all her information, and she's like, you got to like finish this. She doesn't know why the changelings have infiltrated Starfleet, or what they're up to, or who has been infiltrated. So there's a lot left to be unanswered, but she's done a lot of work, and we have all this information, and she's like clearly put Rafi and Worf together, and like kind of, I love that she's been behind the scenes, like kind of bringing this together. Just as there's a dark force trying to bring things together, there's also a light force that's been also secretly bringing things together, and it's really neat that we're halfway through and we're at this point. So I'm in love with this show. I don't want it to end. Like, I just want to keep going on the Titan. I want season 4. Like, it's okay, Jean-Luc, you can go and chill out with Laris. She's waiting for you at that bar. She's
It's
like,
not going to be
like,
Laris.
it's cool.
You're-
Stop it.
You're deluding yourself.
No, wait. With Bev, I want like polyamorous. Like,
Now we're talking.
everything.
It is
Like, I
getting
want
after
the whole
dark
thing.
after all.
I want like everyone. I want the whole thing. Like, yeah, they could go and like, and Bev, Bev
Boo.
needs to get the pasture at some point. I also want ER.
Bev
I want so much.
deserves
I'm
better.
like, yeah,
Bev
it's true.
deserves
She,
better.
No, but maybe
she
he
definitely
will
deserves
become
better than
better
that
for her, but-
stuff.
But anyways, we'll get into this at a later time, because it's true. There's a lot to unpack there. I didn't mean to like to
Trigger all the pressure
That
convo
was a-
folks here.
I promise that was a
Fine.
joke.
Now they're saying
mostly.
Anish in the chat. Thanks,
Oops.
Sohail.
Nella
Gosh,
Darren. Nella
just get 'em all,
Darren.
Nella Darren. Just
Nella
put 'em all.
Darren. Bring it.
That was
Nella
me.
Darren.
Remember my
Oh.
Nella Darren theory? That was all.
Yes.
You guys were like,
Wow.
Sohail,
We're
I
like,
thought you were
no.
a Bev head.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah,
Like,
we
we're not
were a
talking
little
about you.
upset.
Like, oh my gosh. Anyways, so I give this episode a 12 out of 10. It's my first one that's broken at 10 this season. They've
You
all
feel it's
gotten
better than
10s.
last week?
Yeah, I think every week it's been better and better. Obviously when the show's finished and like we can see all 10 episodes, I'll be able to say which was my favorite. But so far, I really like the character of Ro on TNG. I love Michelle Forbes. I loved her as Admiral Kane on BSG, and I just think that she, if she's gonna come back and give us swan song, she did it like impeccably. She like came back and gave this character her all, and you could tell like everything, like that last scene when they're crying and stuff like that, when she's crying and she's like, I wish you could have just seen me into my heart, and like all that stuff. It was just like perfect. So yeah, I give this episode like a 12. It's a really good episode. PJ, you go next, and final thoughts. And also, by the way, as we're going through this, tell folks where they can find you if you have a Twitter handle or YouTube channel or podcast that you want to talk about. Please go ahead and do that as well. Go ahead, PJ.
I'm sad that Ro rowed her boat into a nacelle.
Oh
But
my
it was a good
god!
send off. It was a good conclusion to Preempt Strike. I don't like the Rafi Worf storyline, but I'm glad they're gonna be like, I guess, on the Titan next time. I would give this episode 6 out of 10. Yeah.
Mr. Matt.
At least it's not 5.
True. That's true.
I thought it was an amazing episode. I definitely think that not that much happened, but also a lot of emotions happened. So I can really appreciate the balance between that. I'm excited to see what happens next week. I think next week's going to be a really amazing episode. I think that's going to be what really brings everything together and like really takes us into that Act 2 proper. R.I.P. Roe, you did everyone good and you gave us all so much great quality content. I'm giving it 2 Excelsior classes.
Nice.
I don't know
Marcelo,
what that
why don't you-
means. But...
I don't. It doesn't matter. It's good.
That's
It's
a
nice.
B,
Sounds nice.
right? That's a B.
It's 2 B's.
It's 2 B's. Yeah.
Oh no, we
Marcel-
killed Sohail.
We killed Sohail.
Marcel-
The Excelsior
killed
killed
him.
Sohail.
Are you okay?
Marcelo, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, so I liked a lot of things about this episode. I liked all the Rose stuff with Picard. It was I thought that was like the emotional core of the episode. It was done really, really well. I also liked the Raffi and Worf stuff. I wasn't such a big fan of the Jack thing of, the mystery with Jack. I'm kind of with PG on that one. I kind of don't care that much, but I'm interested to see what's going on with him and how Terry Matalas is going to explain it. My favorite thing about the episode was seeing Beverly be a boss and basically kicking that chief medical officer's ass. That was great. But with all that being said, I don't think that this episode was as strong as last week. So my rating for this episode would be a 5. Just real quickly, I have a podcast called Radio 5 that posts new episodes every Friday on your podcast provider of choice. It's a J.J. Abrams podcast where we talk about Felicity, Lost, Fringe. It's a J.J. Abrams
Speaking
universe
of Kirk
podcast.
Acevedo, he's
So
on
it's-
Fringe.
Yeah, he is. So come and check it out. We could use some guests in the future. Meet Greg Grunberg. I'm just saying. No, I'm kidding. But I thought this episode was really great, really good. By the way.
Fantastic. Ken, why don't you go ahead and go next?
So the big thing for me with this episode was the dynamic between Picard and Ro, and the comment at the end where she said, "I'm giving you what you gave me so long ago, a fighting chance." And I thought that was a very strong sort of final statement, and summed up the history there. And that was sort of, as Terry Matalas said, there was one of the big hanging chads from 30 years ago with the Next Generation, and I think they put a nice but sad button on it. Michelle Forbes did a great job. All of our cast, I think, fantastic. Todd Stashwick with our guest cast. Jerry Ryan constantly is knocking this out of the park. I continually, I've been saying for a long time that we need to have sort of a Raffi and Seven spinoff. Now I'm really thinking that Raffi and Seven spinoff has to be on the Titan with Captain Shaw and the crew. I think that's where we need to go next. That's really, really strong. And Jonathan Frakes just doing a great job. And before Michelle and Jesse kill me, I also have to say that Gates McFadden doing a wonderful job. Is she not? What's going on with the Beverly character? I think the interesting thing is, of all of the legacy characters that we are seeing, except potentially the title character of the show, Beverly Crusher is probably the most complex and mysterious and comprehensive that we have here, which I think is a lot of fun. So I would give this episode probably 9 PJ, row your boats. And I have to say, I almost tweeted the final scene from Star Trek V when they were singing row your boat. But I thought that would be, people would kill me
Classic
as a
scene.
spoiler.
Love it.
Yeah,
So that's
family.
Yeah.
right on, Jesse. And also, thanks for coming on. It's your first time.
Yeah,
It's so
I
cool.
know.
And also,
I had
Chris,
fun.
we'll get to you in a second.
So nice to have you with us. I mean, I'm very happy to have finally you've joined us because sometimes I feel a little lonely.
I got your back. I got your back. No, again, I was just so happy that they finished Rose's story. Like, that was very, very important. It always bothered me. I mean, I haven't been waiting as long as you guys have, so it was only a year and I was bothered. So yeah, I'm glad that they fixed that. Rose went off and she went off in her terms, and that's exactly, I think that was the best way for her to do it. As for the Jack and Beverly and all that stuff, it's up in the air. Just gonna have to wait and see. I'm not sure. There's still a lot more questions to this, but I did enjoy it. But I did like last week's a lot better. I still think that's like the #1 episode. This one's probably gonna fall in my third favorite out of all of them. So I'll probably give it about an 8 out of 10 row your boats on that one.
Very nice. I like that. That's the new measurement is the row your boats. Trev, I was gonna go to you next, but I have a question. Do you have a moral for tonight, since this is a partial salon?
I only do the morals for the animateds. You know that.
Oh, that's right. Okay, sorry, I forgot about that. All right,
Okay.
sorry,
That's
that's right.
okay.
Okay. All right, so then you get to go next.
Oh, okay. So,
I was gonna
I
save you
already-
for last if you did have one.
I already raved about the episode, and I raved about Roe enough, so I won't do it again. Other than to say, the episode has flaws. I'm not a huge fan of the Jack mystery, only because I don't like. There's a part where I'm intrigued, and then I just start to get annoyed, and I feel like I'm on the cusp of annoyance with the mystery. So get me some resolution, please, is kind of where I am with that whole situation. That being said, the episode gave me something I've been waiting 30 years for, which is the conclusion of the Rose story. Michelle Forbes knocked it out of the park. Patrick knocked it out of the park. Gates knocked it out of the park. And it just it was everything I needed it to be, and so I couldn't be happier. So since it was such a Bajoran heavy episode, and since it was slightly sad, I give it 10 Tears of the Prophets. And I don't have anything personally to plug, but I just earlier today retweeted, and it's the top tweet on my feed right now. A dear friend of mine made a couple of years ago a documentary about the Sinclair method, which is a treatment for alcohol use disorder that she discovered for herself and has made it her mission to spread awareness about it. What I retweeted is a free rental on Amazon for Amazon Prime members. So if anybody's interested in watching it, it's pretty fascinating and something I didn't even know existed until I met her. So it's there.
That's really awesome. I'm gonna check it out. I'm a Prime member, so I'll definitely check. I'm reluctantly a Prime member, but I am a Prime member, so I'll check it out.
Begrudgingly a Prime member, yes.
Michelle, please go next.
Yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying how this is building, but I'm also impatient, as Jesse knows. I too am kind of wanting answers on the Jack thing. I love Jack Crusher as a character, but I think I need an answer on what's going on with him, and hopefully it comes soon. But I loved the Ro Laren of it all. I'm so glad Michelle Forbes came back to kind of close the loop on this character, and her and Patrick Stewart's scenes were phenomenal. So the emotion of it, I'm here for the journey. I would say I enjoyed last week's better, but I'm loving Science Bev. I'm loving everything Gates McFadden is doing. I love that her acting choices are making us question, is this the real Bev in this scene? Like, I think that's probably a direction that was given, and she's going with it.
She's
but
awesome,
yeah, I do hope that things stay where it is Beverly, but we'll find out. I gave this episode probably I'm gonna also say 8 row your boats, just because last week's was so hopeful and and everybody was
Yeah,
so
it was
involved.
beautiful.
And we haven't really gotten any Picard Beverly resolution, which again, that's just my personal preference. No shade thrown.
And I guess
okay.
we forgot to mention Crusher combo for us. You were telling us.
I feel like we've been plugging it
Don't
all
worry,
night.
I was gonna plug you guys. I was gonna plug you guys
I
too.
forgot.
We're like, oh yeah, we do a podcast.
Oh yeah, we do a podcast about Beverly Crusher.
We do, and it's all we have awesome guests. So all of you, at some point, we hope to have you all on, and kind of look at things through the lens of Beverly Crusher. This season seems to be through the lens of Beverly Crusher, which is kind of cool. So I think that's been really awesome to see that, and see where it goes from here.
I think this is Cake Eternal. Cake is Eternal, maybe referencing Willy Wonka, I think, which is the suspense is killing me. I hope it'll last. I think he says the suspense is horrid. I hope it doesn't end or something like that. I forget what the exact line is, but very cool. Nice. I don't know if you were referencing Willy Wonka, but that's what came to my mind when you said that. Yes, definitely check out Crusher Convo. I am so glad that there's this huge Beverly Crusher love movement. I know I've had weird theories about Nella Darren, but in my heart, I don't know if you guys know, I'm a huge Bev head. I've had just my moments. So don't worry. And also, there's now the Bev pack, right? That's you're the leader of the Bev pack.
I'm the leader
of the Bev pack. That's very nice.
It was given to me.
Chris, before you go, take us all out, actually, because you're the one who's going to push the controls on that cool L Cars display that you have there that'll end the show. As a first-time guest, could you tell everyone real quick, what your Star Trek story is, and then also how you came to Star Trek, and then also tell everyone what you do on Twitter with your prompts and stuff. It's very cool.
Well, the show just extended to 30 more minutes. No. Star Trek story. I was born in.
And then don't forget. Oh wait, then don't forget to tell your final impressions and rating as well. So there, all those things. Gotcha. Yeah, you're right. It is 30 more minutes.
got a list there. It's on my cars behind me. TNG was my beginning place. From my earliest memories of TV was TNG. I'm coloring books, watching Picard and Data and Geordi and Beverly, all of them. That and the TOS movies. And been in it ever since. Had a brief stint only focusing on Stargate SG-1 when that was on Sci-Fi, but back in Star Trek.
I have to watch that show. I've only seen Stargate Universe and a little bit of SG-1, but I hear it's and there's also Atlantis. There's a lot of Stargate out there.
Yeah, they're fantastic. But so that's my story. On Twitter, I'm at Shelf Nerds. I post monthly prompt characters with different themes. I just dropped May's theme, which is about doctors. # Doctoring Trek. This month is picking your top 3 in Star Trek, whatever the day's prompt is. I also have a Star Trek podcast. It's Enterprise rewatch podcast called First Flight with Abby Summer, and a YouTube channel, Completing the Shelf, where there's lots of Star Trek goodness on there too.
And don't forget about your Micro Treks, which got endorsed by Terry Metalis and Gates McFadden.
Yeah, that was cool. That was a cool moment. Oh, and then my rating. I have 8 cathartic conversations in a moment of crisis. Because in this show, it's basically people having these cathartic conversations when all hell's breaking loose. And I love it. They are basically Micro Treks in every episode. So I can't love it more. But 8, this hasn't been my favorite one in this season so far, but 8's still pretty darn good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I give.
I'm sorry, one more thing.
Yes.
Another rating scale could be 8 PB&Js.
Oh.
Ooh, for the Terry Metalis approved PB and J
Yeah.
Picard, Beverly, and Jack
Jack.
family name that
I love
Jesse
that.
came up with earlier today when we were chatting. That was PB and J all the way. This is
PB
it.
and J, that's
Bringing
it.
us through to episode 10. Let's do it, guys. Let us just overcome all
official.
of the.
He's gonna
against all odds.
rename. He's gonna rename the finale PB and J.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the last generation.
He
It's not
loves
PB.
Phil Collins. So maybe against all odds, PB and J. Here we go.
Oh, there we go.
You
there we
know?
go.
Thanks, Joanne.
That's awesome, guys. This Saturday, so Starfleet Sohail does YouTube videos on Thursdays when there's a new episode like this. Usually we're on a lot earlier, but I might start going on a little later. This is a lot of fun. No, I'm just kidding. The salon is usually on at this time slot. I'm just kidding. but I just wanted to say this Saturday, and so Saturdays we do discussions of not current Trek, so previous Trek. Currently we are watching Star Trek the animated series, but this Saturday I'm going to still be here in New Orleans working, so I don't think I'll be able to do it again. I'm sorry I keep postponing those Saturday shows, but I promise the following Saturday we'll be back, and then I'm not traveling for a while unless I get invited to another premiere or some weird thing like that. Then I will be traveling, but I don't know if that's oh wow, sorry Matt.
So what you're
Quite,
saying?
quite the eye roll, Matt.
I was on a cruise, okay? I don't want to talk about it.
Was it a fun cruise? Must have been a fun cruise.
It was not as fun as a Star Trek. Anyway.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry.
Dad joke alert. But I hear what you're saying that on Saturday, so hailing frequencies are closed.
Yeah.
I've been saving that
a
one
good-
for a while.
That was a really good dad joke. I like
That
that, and I
was-
love
that
so
was
hailing
good.
frequencies. That's like a thing people have been saying, and I love it. So that's my whole thing now from now on. So hailing frequencies. But yeah, so the Slaver Weapon is the episode we're gonna do. So it has to wait one more week. I'm so sorry. Joel's gonna watch it like 5 times now. And so-
I'm loving the animated series revisit. I gotta get on that.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The only episode of the original crew without Kirk or the Enterprise.
Yes. that's
Every
right.
time I watch it, I think about how much money my parents spent on the box set of the animated series off like Columbia House back in the 90s for me. And I'm just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
now I am streaming it for free. Sorry, mom and dad. Like, you know.
Aaron was right. Aaron came up with so hailing frequencies. The first person I heard say it. So yeah, very cool. I love it. I'm so happy about it. But yeah, so we won't be doing that this Saturday, but we'll be back. But thank you everyone for joining me. This is crazy. We've got like 9 people on here. It totally became Hollywood Squares. I was Jim J. Bullock for a few seconds, but I had to give Chris the center square because he was so great.
looks amazing.
Yeah, and come on. So that's very cool. And I guess you're Alice also. That means if it's the Brady.
Trev's
Or
amazing
Paul,
too, though. Trev's got a nice,
Yes.
yeah.
Or Paul Lynn.
on there too.
I'm
Which means you
jealous
bumped-
of that Bajoran con badge. I gotta get one.
Oh, why? Thank you.
It's
But that
awesome.
does mean that
Earring.
and the earring, it's on there.
Oh,
But
yeah.
that means you bumped Matt to Cindy Brady status, which is not really cool.
Right.
At all.
Wow.
It's
Wait,
not
then
cool.
that makes me Bobby.
Yeah.
Am I
like
the
being
mom?
Bobby and Cindy. I think we're a good Bobby and Cindy.
I guess I'm
Yeah.
Alice. I'll be Alice.
No,
No,
Chris
Alice-
is
no,
Alice.
Chris is Alice.
Chris.
No,
Chris
you're-
is Alice.
PJ's the dad, and
She
Jesse's
wears
the mom.
blue.
Oh wait,
There
but
you
if
go.
I'm on this side, I would have to be
You're
Peter.
You're the
Jan.
dad.
No,
Yeah,
you're
you're the
Peter.
middle-
Sorry, you're Peter.
Yeah.
middle, yeah.
Marcella's
Peter.
Jan.
Marcella's Jan.
That's funny.
That
That makes
would
you
make me
Marcia.
And it's
Marcia.
Marcia. Yeah.
Right.
And I'm the
So
mom.
so Marcella needs to go, Marcia. And I'll be like,
Marcia,
oh,
Marcia,
Jan.
What the pandemic got for us. Maybe we can
Yeah,
speedy
seriously.
bunch it now. It's great. We
Audience,
can
thank you
experience that
for
together.
being in the chat the whole time and like having such awesome comments. I'm sorry if we couldn't get to all the good ones. It was really cool that Jessie Gender popped in. Thank you, Jessie, for coming and saying hello. Everyone go check out her channel. All right, folks, live long and prosper.